Welcome, Cheesemaker fans, to another night of Cheesemakers football, brought to you by Tillamook Bay Community College, Tillamook Motors, Roby's Furniture and Appliance, SC Paving, Tillamook County Transportation District, City Sanitary Service, Dave Hollingsworth State Farm Insurance, Tillamook County Family YMCA, and Les Schwab. Now let's take it down to the field with Randy Shield.
Good evening, Tillamook High School football fans. It's warm-up time. Tonight's Tillamook High School Cheesemakers try to make it a perfect 3-0 as they take a 2-0 record into the third game for the first time in 14 years. It's been a long time since Tillamook has had a good start, and they're looking to extend that tonight as they take to the road for the first time this year as they made the long trip across the valley to get to Estacada out in the foothills of the Cascades in a absolutely immaculate setting here as we sit high above the field, right on the edge of the field, looking down on a well-kept field and a beautiful night for football. Temperature about 80 degrees right now. I'm sure it'll cool as we have some elevation here. But an entire laurel hedge, it's got to be 10 feet tall and 20 feet thick, or 10 feet thick anyway, all the way around this facility. It's a great place to play football, and the Cheesemakers are anxious to be here tonight as they take their 2-0 record in against the Estacada Rangers, who are 1-1. They lost their initial game of the year 44-27 to Staten, and they beat Scio last week 21-20. The Cheesemakers, of course, won big against Yamhill Carlton the first game 43-14. And then that thriller last Friday night, where Tillamook won on the final play of the game on the Hail Mary into the corner caught by the Cheesemakers, and Tillamook ends up winning that one 13-7 in a hard-fought game. And so they're riding the high right now, hoping to win their final non-league game of the year before they start with Banks in league play a week from tonight. We're going to talk to Tillamook head coach Kai Johnson about tonight's game after this word from the Tillamook Bay Community College. Welcome back to Cheesemaker Football and Warm-Up Time, brought to you by the Tillamook Bay Community College. Tillamook Cheesemakers and the Estacada Rangers from Buzz Randall Field at Estacada High School here on the east side of the valley as the Cheesemakers take on the team who finished in the semifinals last year, the Estacada Rangers. Before the game, we had a chance to talk to Tillamook head coach Kai Johnson, and here's what Kai had to say, if you could hear him over the music they were playing at the time. But here's what Kai had to say.
Hi, you come into tonight's game, but first let's talk about the last one. Not many games I've seen over the course of the years I've done this where the good guys win on the last play of the game. Doesn't get any more exciting than that.
No, that was a special moment, and we've had to balance kind of enjoying that moment with moving forward with our lives and our story this season. And, of course, you don't want to just shut the door on it because that might be the only time in our lives where we're a part of something like that. So it's special, and we wanted it to be special. And, you know, with social media today, our guys are just having a heyday, sending it to everybody and, you know, putting it on the national highlight reels and all that. And it was well worth all of that. But at the same time, we had to kind of turn the page, and we did that. And I think we probably finally got to the end of the week here where we weren't going to watch game film on Estacada and then somehow finding our way back to the Junction City game. But it was a great win for the Cheesemakers. It was a great win for our football program. The crowd was awesome. I mean, it couldn't have been a better moment in week 2 for us this year. But, you know, our talk was it's only going to be as sweet as this thing winds up being, you know, and that can't be the highlight of our season. So hopefully we are ready to rock and roll tonight against a good opponent on the road, too, so for the first time.
You know, as you look back at that ball game, sometimes seasons hinge on wins that give you confidence or lose that cause you to question. And obviously that win should have given you confidence. You had several opportunities to score. You didn't get it done. And yet you kept holding them in a way that it still left you in the ball game and a chance, and then you made the most of it. That could play out down the road when things are in a bad spot some other time.
Yeah, it's really the first win since I've been here. So in my 2 seasons and 2 games that we've had that win. We've had a couple of close ones where we fought until the end but didn't get a win. That one was hopefully, like you're saying, one of those hinge moment type of deals where our guys now have that positive experience in their back pocket. I mean, you can't simulate those type of things. You have to go through them. So, and we certainly have gone through growing pains, you know, and it felt like that was sort of this vindication of at least a small win in terms of going through the growing pains we've had the last year and a half or so.
So now what do you know about Estacada? Third game of the year, last non-league game of the year. Double wing again. You get to see that a couple weeks in a row. What do you expect out of them? What do you know about them?
Well, first and foremost, Coach Mott is a guy who I can only – my goal for our football program is to do what he has done with Estacada and turn them into a consistent winner, holds kids to a high standard, but also showers them with love, builds a program where kids want to be a part of it, and high school football is something special in Estacada. And it's taken them a few years to get there. But they were a semifinal team last year. I mean, they were one of the Final Four in 4A Oregon football. So it's not like by any means we feel like being 2-0 and we can just walk in here and rule the house. It's not going to be the case. Estacada is a good program, and they're going the right direction. They've been solid for several years, and they've got some good guys. Now, they graduated a ton of good players from last year. They had seniors all over the place, but scheme-wise, they're doing pretty much the same thing, and they just have some new faces in there. But, you know, they have guys that make plays, and the one thing that stood out to me watching film, and we kind of pounded this into our guys' heads all week, is we may be a little more athletic, but they are going to challenge us every play with effort. So we've got to be the team that plays with better effort tonight.
So when you look at the double wing's always something that tries to beat you 3 yards at a time, but ends up scoring the 2 or 3 or 4 times they throw the ball over the top. How do you keep your kids from sucking up so hard that they give it up over the top?
Yeah, you just rep it a ton during the week and hope that they, you know, really buy into the idea of doing their job. They're a dive option team. They're going to run dive option 35 times tonight against us, regardless of down and distance. They'll run dive option on 3rd and 17. That's just what they do, but they will get the ball to the edge every once in a while, and they'll turn it up the sideline and try to make yards. And their running backs fight hard. They have guys that play to the whistle at the line of scrimmage, and you know, they may only throw the ball 5 or 6 times tonight, and that's totally fine. Our defensive backs just have to know that when those 5 or 6 plays come, they have to be doing their jobs and let the other 9 or 8 teammates stop the run. And as we like to say, when you can sign your name on a check that it is a run, then you can come up and help. Other than that, do your job first, and we'll be okay.
And we'd like to thank Kai Johnson for his comments for tonight's game on warm-up time. We'll be back with the start of the game after this word from the Tillamook Bay Community College. Cheesemaker football, the Cheesemakers kick off. It rolls out of bounds at the 15-yard line. And I think the question will be whether that was touched by one of the Rangers.
Yeah, I think it was, because he did not throw the flag.
He did not.
Yeah.
And so they'll say it was touched by the Rangers, goes out of bounds at the 15, ends up being a great kick, and the Cheesemakers put Estacada deep in their own territory here to open up the ball game. Randy Shield along with Nathan Radcliffe, your broadcast crew over FM 95.9, KTIL in Tillamook, Again, you listen to Warm-Up Time, brought to you by the Tillamook Bay Community College. So Estacada comes to the line, and we had been told that they were going to be a double wing, but
well, they're a wide split double wing.
They actually have double wing. It's a run and shoot set. The back in the backfield is Drury. Keller is a quarterback, deep set under center. Motion left, going to hand to the fullback straight ahead. Big hole there. Going to get out across the 18 to the 19, 20-yard line and down there. As they just doubled down on the nose, kicked out, and the dive man, that'd be the fullback going straight ahead, picks up 6 yards on his first carry.
Yeah, Austin Weeks met him in the hole, but Austin was up pretty tall and not running downhill.
Cheesemakers come up in an odd man front. They have it's a 5-4 right now. Double wing, and there's a whistle by the official on the near side as he talks to the wideout on his side. That'd be Hager. And the quarterback on 2nd and 4, Keller, comes up under center. Going to hand to the fullback going the other way. Submarine, nicely done there. As the Cheesemakers diving in, it was Sean McCauley. And McCauley, from his linebacker position, stepped up and met that right at the knees and took it down. A gain of 2 on the play, 3rd down and 2.
Well, they're going to keep pounding that first back through until...
Yeah, you got to stop it.
Yep.
Cheesemakers come up defensively, motion left, straight ahead. Again it goes, wrapped up that time.
Brian Rieger did a great job.
I'm not sure if he got the first down. Looks to me like it's going to be 4th, and they'll signal 4th down. It'll be short by less than a yard as Estacada in their white pants and black shirts going to move right to left across your radio dial here to open this up, and they're sending their punt team in.
Rieger did a great job from his defensive tackle position, standing his man up, turning him, and then taking on the running back. Fantastic job.
McCauley goes deep as Weaver in punt formation, deep in their own territory. A slow snap, but he gets it and gets it away. A nice hanging punt over our head. As it bounces high, Chris Silvera will not take it.
Surprised a little bit by the depth, I think.
Yeah, it went all the way down to the 24-yard line of the Cheesemakers, and that's where Tillamook will take over their first possession of the ball game. So this one starts better than last week's did when the Cheesemakers gave up
a touchdown on 5 plays, I want to say.
And made it look easy.
Well, yes, they made Junction City look pretty good on that first possession.
The real question's going to be when Estacada goes away from their dive man, which they ran all 3 times that time.
Oh, just body blow, until Tillamook absorbed 3 of them. But there's going to be a change-up in there, right?
Yes, there is. There's going to be a counter. You can count on that. That's part of what this is. And there's going to be an option with the quarterback or the pitch man. But that's not Tillamook's concern right now as they send 3 receivers to the near side, 1 receiver way far to the far side as Matt Silvera in the shotgun. Next to him, running back in the backfield, they'll run option to the left side. Got a little room on the outside if he can get around the corner, but he cannot. As running the ball for the Cheesemakers was Eli McCray.
Running option against an option team, no?
And the invert, the defensive back came up, did a nice job of causing the pitch and then running the pitch down, and it's a loss of 1. As the Cheesemakers go backwards. We saw a lot of that in the second half last week
but for really different purposes. They went backwards last week because they were getting bum rushed in the middle of the field. That time they went backwards because they intentionally gave ground.
Big wide splits defensively in the middle. Cheesemakers back to throw. Look left. They're going to hang it long to Warner. It is complete, I believe. Now a wrestling match, and the Cheesemakers will have it. The defender came up with it after they rolled around on the ground, but Caleb Warner, with his first catch of the year.
I would suggest Caleb maybe fights that thing a little harder.
Hang on to it there a little longer, but he got the call, and at the 46-yard line, the Cheesemakers have their first down of the night.
23 yards on the pickup.
Nice thrown catch. We didn't know how Caleb's hands were. He certainly has been a very effective blocker out there. McCray up the middle. Not much there. Going to get rolled backwards. May have gotten back to the line, and there's a late flag that came in. Thrown by the white hat back behind the quarterback. And it is so typical or so appropriate that he is our official here tonight. And it's going to be a face mask. And the reason I say that is he's got a Duck Dynasty beard.
Oh, he does. That's one of the originals.
Oh, that is. And it is, I mean, it is
It's a 5-yard face mask.
Estacada-esque, and that is a 5-yard.
But it's first down still.
A 5-yard penalty.
Oh, he gets it. He gets it. See, this white hat gets the repeat.
Yep. We've seen 2 weeks in a row when downs have been an issue, but not here. He says, no, first down again. Cheesemakers have it across midfield for the first time. Halfback McCray just up to the right. Now he drops back a little bit behind Silvera, the quarterback, in the shotgun. McKibben facing the rush. Silvera going to run to the outside. Tries to get around the corner. Didn't get the block. And out of bounds he goes. A loss of 1 on the play as he comes all the way to the sideline. Cheesemakers had pretty good numbers coming right, but Estacada's showing that they have pretty good speed getting to the outside as well.
Quarterbacks, at some point you got to put your foot in the ground and you got to stick that pretty face in a hole.
Go upriver.
Go upriver. And Matt kept pumping it to the outside, trying to get the corner turned.
It's not that hard. Every salmon learns it sometime. But in that case, kept stringing it out, and finally ran out of bounds. Now 3 receivers to the left side of the quarterback. That's the top side of your screen. Going to look left, throw left. Outside, overthrew it. Incomplete. He had Chris Silvera. Didn't have great numbers out there anyway, and the Cheesemakers go incomplete, and it'll be 3rd down and 6. So the Cheesemakers have tried to run inside. They've tried to run wide. They've thrown it over the top once and have had limited success so far now.
So that was a different structure out of their bubble screen. Typically they throw to the middle of the trip side. That time was to the inside of the receiver, and the angles were bad on that. Had to lead them a little bit. Boy, you're flirting with devil.
Pitch sweep left side. Cheesemakers try to get a block. It's going to be Weeks running to the outside. Can't get through the hole. He's going to get a yard or 2. It'll bring up 4th down and about 3. So we'll see if Tillamook's going to play the field position game or if they're going to go for it on 4th down here early. It'll be 4th and a long 3, and Kai Johnson says we're going to kick it away. So McCray comes in as the long snapper. And deep will go Richardson to kick it away. The quarterback, Keller, will be the return man. Cheesemakers get set. Good snap that time. Richardson going to kick it away to the right side. Cheesemakers clear, and he gets a great bounce, and now Keller comes up and fields it and is taken down at about the 18-yard line. Fortunately, the Cheesemaker defenders stayed on Keller because he looked like he was going to let it go, and then at the last minute came up, grabbed it, and picked up a few yards going forward.
It took a big, pretty hop right in front of him.
It did. And it was fortunate for Estacada because that ball would have been down inside the 10 the way it was rolling.
Yep. Well, both teams have come out and tried to run their stuff and had limited success. And so we'll see if Estacada stays with their first back through or if they're going to change things up a little bit. They've changed up running backs.
They do. They have a new running back in. That's going to be Weaver. Weaver, a little bit bigger, motion. Weaver going to get it to the right side, got some room, out across there, met by Silvera. That's Chris Silvera up, but not until he's out across the 25, 26-yard line, and a gain of 8 on the play. Cheesemakers took over, or Estacada took over on the 19. They have to come out to the 29 for the first down. That's only 2 yards away from where they are now.
With five down linemen, you think you should be able to keep leverage.
Yeah, we got a hole there because we brought our defensive tackle down on guard. Now it's motioned the other way, and again, Weaver gets enough for the first down. Going to pick up about 4, make that 5 yards on the carry. Weaver, their coach gave me him as a starter and then said, oh, no, he's not starting tonight. So there might have been something, a mispractice or something, that Weaver may be their typical starter. But we'll see how this unfolds on the night. Weaver wearing number 11, sets up behind number 1, the quarterback Keller, behind the smallest center we've seen this year in Schaefer. Motion left to right, Weaver again. Inside, Cheesemakers getting stood up. Weaver breaks the tackle out across the 40 to the 41-yard line. On first down again, he gets 8 yards. So back-to-back first down plays where 8 yards is gained, and Weaver comes out of the ball game and Drury back in. So apparently their lone setback is on a rotation system, knowing that he's going to carry the ball most of the time.
Interesting. Going to a 4-man front this time, it looks like to me.
They are.
No, they're going to walk Eli up.
So the Cheesemakers in a 5-4 set right now, locked up man-to-man on the outside people. Back to throw for the first time. Looking left, throws it down the middle, incomplete as he got heavy pressure on him as Kenny Kramer was in his back pocket and put down Keller in a hurry as Keller rolled back. That's Nick Keller, a junior quarterback, rolled back and was down immediately in the backfield.
Well, 2nd down and 2, that's a good spot if you're going to throw the ball to see, because you've got a good short yardage situation here.
State semifinalists last year. A lot of these kids got playing time. Handoff, going to dive ahead for the first down. And gets to the 45 on a 3rd and 2. Picks up about 4. And it's first down, Estacada. Beautiful setting here, and we're about perched as high as you can get above a football game and as close to the sidelines. We're literally probably about 12 feet away from the near sidelines, but I'm guessing we're 24, 25 feet up.
We're quite
30
a ways
feet up, maybe. First down, Estacada.
Intimate.
Right in front of us. Great setting. Love this field. Pitch sweep to the right side for the first time. Trying to get outside. Down he goes. Right up the marker.
Kramer again.
Kramer going down the line. McCauley was also there, and there's going to be no gain on the play. It'll be 2nd down and 10. First time they've gone to anybody except their fullback.
Yep.
Probably going to go back to their fullback.
I would suggest that's probably a pretty wise decision.
That was not where they wanted to go, although they did throw an incomplete pass on 3rd down. Estacada in the run and shoot set. One back behind him. It's going to be Drury. Motion. Going to hand to Drury. Drury almost fumbled the ball in the backfield and then gets out to midfield, and McCauley takes him down there. Gain of 6 on the play. As Estacada has consistently on this drive had pretty good holes off tackle.
Yeah, they have. As they've been able to turn, tackle, and nose guard, or tackle and end, and then put the linebackers in a position where they're the ones that have to make the plays.
They tried to run on the inside hip of the tackle in the first possession. Now they've gone to the outside hip, which puts that defensive end in a tough spot because as soon as you crash down on the dive man, the quarterback's going to keep it. Now you've got numbers going outside. Motion again. Now he's going to run. Pitch to the outside. Good pursuit. Down it goes.
McCray did a great job. He covered both the quarterback and the pitch.
McCray did take the quarterback, made the quarterback pitch to the pitch man, and then just chased him down before he got to the sidelines for a loss of 5. Make that 4 on the play.
I'll take you, too.
It'll be
and you.
4th down and 8. And the Cheesemaker defense, it looks like they've held as Weaver goes back into the punt formation.
Nice play.
So McCray with a stop for the Cheesemakers. Estacada on 4th and 8. Just their side of midfield. Get the snap back, and Weaver going to kick it away. Good kick, but Silvera going to handle this one.
Ooh.
At the 15. Going to try to return to the far side. Slips one guy out across the 25 to the 30 and down there.
Boy, there was a lot of real estate in the middle of the field, wasn't there?
There was.
I'm not a punt return man, but it seemed like you wanted to go up the gut to get 15.
He got 15, actually.
Yeah, sideways.
As it went from the 15 all the way out to the 30, and the Cheesemakers have the ball back on their second possession of the ball game. No score.
Nice defensive play right there as Estacada showed their perimeter game, and Tillamook really cleaned up right there.
Yeah.
And so had a lot more success Estacada did between the tackles on the first 6 plays of that drive. And then they tried to see what the edges looked like, and Tillamook demonstrated that they have enough speed between Kenny Kraber and Eli McCray to be able to cover the edges fairly well. And that, as a coach, tells you something.
Yes, it does.
Right?
It tells you a lot.
Yep.
It also tells you that the officials are having a hard time on the far side with the down marker, which says what down it is they can't get it to change. And so he beats it on the ground once, but now
you know what? He and I have the same solution process.
Yeah.
Like, we have a problem-solving protocol.
Bang it a little harder.
That's right. Oh, they're making progress. No.
Well, it changed colors, but and it's not like it's been on the ground and been wrecked.
No, that's just what it is.
It just didn't work.
Broke.
And so,
and I'm not so certain beating it on the ground is necessarily going to solve the broke issue.
No,
now,
maybe
if it's
not.
stuck, then maybe a good ground beating will fix it.
He wisely
Turns it sideways.
Turns it sideways. Good heads up.
That
job
is heads
there.
up, man.
Chain crew, great job. First down, Cheesemakers.
That's varsity chain crew work
That
right
is.
there. Oh, linebacker's coming, no?
Ashmark fly sweep. Going to get to the outside. Cuts it back up inside. McCauley going to pick up nothing.
Nothing.
Got back to the line of scrimmage, but in to make the tackle there was David Stam. Stam, a defensive back, came up and wrapped up the Cheesemakers. And now, watch this. They're bringing out old school.
Oh, they are.
This is an old school down marker.
Boy, 1950 called.
That you, first of all, it's only about 6 inches in diameter, so you're going to have to tell me what it says. Second of all,
well, fortunately, I have trifocals, so I've got a pair of binoculars up on top.
It is just a stick, and it's a flip chart on card on top that rolls over, and it does say second down.
There we go.
And it's orange.
Hey, not only was that's good problem solving. Like just across the board, that's varsity level material right there.
Yeah, nice job. 3:10 left to play first period. No score in the ball game. Silvera, play action, going to look left, throws to McCauley. Incomplete. There's no flag, and part of the reason there's no flag is that
it hit the back of the defender.
It hit the defender in the back about the same time he got to the receiver. He had no idea where the ball was, but he was real fortunate on timing, and it is incomplete.
Yeah, that wasn't...
If you wait one more step, McCauley either gets a pass interference call or he catches the ball on the other side of the defender because the linebacker had his back turn running, and it is 3rd and 10. Linebacker's coming. Silvera back. Going to throw. Screen left side. Caleb Warner breaks one tackle, dives ahead, ends up getting about 7 on the play. The Cheesemakers, though, didn't get a clean block on the outside, and that's what they were so good at in week 1. Of course, when you face better athletes,
sometimes it's harder to block them.
A little harder to catch and block.
Yep.
It looks to me like the Cheesemakers are going for it here on 4th and a long 2 from their own 38. Maybe watch for a no play here.
We'll see if that blitzing linebacker.
Cheesemakers look to the sidelines. So Kai Johnson.
No, he's not coming. Nope. Interesting.
Going to roll the dice here. Motion across the formation. And the defense jumped offside.
It was. The whole way. They were never going to. And you could tell from McCauley's motion. He went in motion, then he came towards the line of scrimmage.
You knew they couldn't snap it or it'd be illegal procedure. And it is offsides defense, and the Cheesemakers get a freebie as they will move the ball up to the 43-yard line. It'll be first down. Nice job, Kai. Tillamook will take it.
And that poor defensive end, the motion went away from him.
I know.
Right? Even if they're going to run it, the chances of him, nope.
Wasn't coming to him.
Nope.
Jumping offsides there was defensive end Hunter Gottschall, who is also an offensive lineman. And he's beating himself on the head a little bit right now.
Well, we'll see if Tillamook can...
See if they can capitalize on the mistake. First down, Tillamook. Hand off inside. Weeks, good hold. Out across the 45. Midfield. Down inside the Estacada territory at the 49-yard line. Going to pick up 7, maybe 8 on the first down play. First time Tillamook's found a hole on the inside. They've only tried it twice, though.
Weeks looked a bit like a wrestler running the football there.
He did. He kind of
His shoulder pads are bigger than they were last year, right?
Jumped one way, then the other. No, that's because now he thinks he's a football player. You come out one time, become an all-league player, and all of a sudden you think you're pretty good, and he is. Second down and about 3. Weeks motion. Left to right across the quarterback. Now they check, they look over, and they call a different play. Silvera gets set, calls the snap count again. Inside Weeks. Weeks step through, going to come close to the first down as he dives to about the 46.
I think they're going to mark it from where that far side of it. They wave him forward.
They'll move the chains. No reason to waste any time measuring here. And with 1:09 left to play in the first period, they will move the chains.
Third carry, 13 yards for Austin.
For the first time in our recorded history, we got to the ballpark tonight having not had enough time to stop and eat.
I know.
I know.
I was a little late getting out of school. I had a student come by that I've worked with for 3 years, and she was off to Oregon State tomorrow.
Okay.
Could I not? I mean, I couldn't.
No, that's
I couldn't.
Good. Back to throw, looking down the middle. Silvera throws right side to his brother. Nice catch by Chris at the 35 and rolled down there. 15-yard, make that 11-yard gain on the play. So first down, Cheesemakers. now at the 35-yard line of Estacada. Well-thrown ball there and a nice catch by Chris.
It really had nice pocket development. And then Matt, I think at times, I've noticed he's jumped when he throws the ball. Yeah. Not that time. He threw up his back foot, stepping into it. Pocket really formed up well. Threw a nice ball.
Cheesemaker shotgun set again. They'll look left, going to throw left.
Oh.
It's incomplete, and that's a fumble. No, it's played forward. McCauley catches it off the bounce. Heads-up play by McCauley, as that would have been a fumble, but instead, as it pass was thrown backwards, he got a hand on it, bounced off the ground straight up to him. He kept running. He got himself almost to the line of scrimmage. So now they're talking about whether or not it was forward or backwards and incomplete, and they'll say, no, it was not an incomplete pass, and so it'll be a loss of 1, second down at 11, but the clock runs out on a very fast first quarter. There's no score and there's no time left in the first. We're going to take a 1-minute break. We'll be back after this. Welcome back to Cheesemaker Football. Tillamook and Estacada tied 0-0.
Boy, 23 snaps total in the quarter.
Yeah.
I mean, you can tell the ball's on the ground. Tillamook got 10 yards rushing, 41 yards in the air, 39 yards on the ground, nothing in the air for Estacada.
Second down at 11, Cheesemakers. Right to left now. They move in their black pants and their white uniforms. Motion, Silvera across. He'll run option to the far side. Ball's on the ground, but Silvera gets it on the catch. And it will be a loss of about 6 on the play.
It was there, too. That's the problem.
Yeah, there was some room there. But I have to tell you that the defensive backs of Estacada flowing hard. You saw about 6 guys out on that side as soon as they showed option that direction. And now you're faced with third and very long, 3rd and 17 for the Cheesemakers, as Estacada, I believe, will move into a 2-deep zone.
As they bring in a second safety or take a linebacker back.
Yep.
Now they're going to go 4-on-3. No, they're going to take the free safety and put him in the middle of the field.
Warner comes to the near side in a slot this time. And as the ball was snapped, the whistle blew, and that's going to be a 5-yard delay of game penalty.
They're going to run pitch sweep, it looked like to me.
Yeah.
Or is that a fake pitch?
And either way they look at it, they're going to be looking at it at 3rd and 22 now.
Well,
long ways to go.
You do. You got to break something if you're going to have any success here.
Yep. Although you get about 10, you're in a 4-down situation. So the Cheesemakers now go 2 receivers each way, so a different play. Just underway in the second period. Back to throw, looks left, going to hang it long.
Oh.
As didn't look like Kuhn knew that it was coming to him. As the ball was overthrown, ran the automatic go, and he was coming out kind of on a stock block.
He was not running a pass route.
No, and the Cheesemaker's going to have to punt it away. So they moved the ball, had some things going, and then made a couple mistakes, went backwards, fumble, actually 2 fumbles in that series, one on a swing pass and the other on an option. And Tillamook will have to move back into punt formation. Good snap. Richardson going to kick it away. Wobbler to the left side. Going to hit at the 20. Gets a great bounce. Now it's got to stop.
Found a hard spot.
And it does, as McCrae kills it at the 1.
Boy, I tell you, he found a hard spot on that field, didn't he?
It hit and just catapulted forward. Hit about the 20 and went past the deep man so quick that he couldn't do anything about it.
Oh, the joys of the oblong spheroid, no?
No doubt. And
no such thing as a true bounce with that.
Oddly enough, Richardson has not gotten a bounce off the turf at home, but he's gotten a couple of good ones here. They're going to mark it out at about the 3 now. And it'll be first down Estacada, clear down to our left as we have to stand up and take a look at where they're coming. As now they'll be moving from the far end of the field to the near end on us. And they're missing a wideout on the right side.
Well, they're not going to throw it to them, so it doesn't make any difference. They could miss both of them.
And the quarterback or the slot goes out and tells them what the play is. Under center, short motion.
Oh.
And
that was
delay
close.
A game?
Yeah, it was, but I tell you, man, I thought he had the ball snapped.
I did too.
I agree with the Estacada, the coaching staff, that's about 3 walls and 30 feet to my left. I heard him through my headphones.
I thought Tillamook was pretty close on that last one when he blew the 5-yard penalty, but that was way closer.
Way closer.
As he had already snapped the ball, and you knew enough that they were run and dive on the right side. The penalty is only a penalty of a yard because it goes from the 2 to the 1, but it is a penalty nonetheless, and it's first down again. Quarterback, Keller under center. Going to hand off, fullback straight ahead. Hit at the line of scrimmage. He may not have gotten out.
He ends up.
And, they're going to say he's down outside of the goal line. That was very close to a safety. Very close to the first 2 points of the ball game.
Oh, that down marker didn't move that much, unless they move it now. That's about where it was.
The back of the ball, about 8 inches outside of the goal line.
Then that down marker isn't close.
Well, it's got to be the angle.
Okay.
Second down.
You're talking geometry.
I know.
All right, just checking.
Yep. Need to use your math skills.
Oh, heavens, we're in trouble.
Motion right to left, off to the fullback, straight up the middle, and he gets about 5 on the play, maybe 6, and he could have gotten a lot more if he hadn't got tripped up right at the line. He had a hole ahead of him. In fact, he was looking at about 95 yards of green pasture out in front, which usually makes the whole scene hop around and be happy, but down he went. And it'll be third down and about 6.
Somebody grabbed an ankle at down lineman Perry Reeder, maybe. He ran over the top of that hole.
It's a good thing. Cheesemakers will change their defense a little bit now as Reeder moves from the nose guard out to, I'd say, a defensive tackle, but he's really lined up on the guard.
Yep.
Cheesemakers are cheating down inside.
Hard.
Motion, left to right, and now head coach of Estacada calls timeout. We will as well. 9:26 left to play in the first half. No score. Back in 1 minute.
That was weird, where Reeder was up close, but then the next tackle was out wide. Yeah. The right tackle had a big split there. What do you see out there, Coach?
That was close.
We're lucky we didn't go off that game down like that. So wide. How did your, I know your kids won pretty.
And 6. Estacada from their own 6-yard line. Motion, play action. Going to throw over the middle. No, TD switch down the near side. A one-handed catch. And he's out of bounds at the 19, and it's complete. What a great catch.
Who caught it?
Tried to turn sideways. Looks like number 44 on the reception. Somebody we haven't called, Wyatt Rydell. He's a defensive end. He stuck one hand out there right on the sidelines, collected it, and then went out of bounds. You'd have to see instant replay to see whether or not he actually got both feet in, but they called it complete, and it was such a good catch you'd hate not to. And it is first down Estacada. out at the 19-yard line. Hand off fullback, straight up the middle. Breaks one tackle, breaks another. He's got some room to the near side, out across the 35 to the 40, and down there, finally saved by the Cheesemakers, Chase Wagner. So Wagner came up and made probably a touchdown-saving tackle as carrying the ball all the way through the left side, had a big hole to start with, and then broke a couple tackles.
Drury has got 47 yards on his 8 carries.
Drury still the fullback behind the quarterback at their own 40 now. This drive started inside their own 1. Drury, left side, hit, and down he goes.
Nice job standing your ground, Sean McCauley.
McCauley actually made first contact, and then the second was Weeks, a gain of 3 on the play.
Ooh, that's a long 3.
Take it 4. Maybe a long 4, actually.
So that tells you something. When first contact was 4 yards past the line of scrimmage.
Yep. Tells you the Cheesemakers have to penetrate a little more. 8:23 left to play in the half. No score. Quarterback crouches real low behind the center, and they'll run dive to the near side. Again. Out across the 45 to the 50, rolling ahead with a lot of guys around him, and finally down in Cheesemaker territory at the 48. Gain of 7 on the play. Cheesemakers way too high trying to tackle on that one. In fact, the first guy threw looked like he tried to tackle the ball.
Yep, I completely agree.
And that's probably not a good plan.
Nope, unless it works, right?
Well, once in a while it could be a good plan, but in that case it was not. Cheesemakers send Perry to the sideline. Going to talk to him about getting a little bit lower, I'm guessing. Motion right to left. Pitch to the outside.
Ooh, look at that double block.
Bad spot. Pitch inside the 40 to the 30, down the sidelines at the 20, at the 10. Cuts back. He's going to score. There is a flag down way back in the backfield. I don't know.
They got a good double team on Warner, didn't they?
They certainly did. Cheesemakers were blitzing their linebacker, which was really bad timing to face a quick pitch to the outside. There's a flag down. Oh, that was dropped inadvertently as the defensive back judge just lost it out of his pocket.
Well, at least he had one, right?
Yeah, better than last week. And the Cheesemakers trail here in the second period, 6-0. They ran short motion, pitched it to the outside, and the Cheesemaker linebackers had committed inside. They got it all the way around the wing, and then it was one-on-one. Down the sidelines he went, and then cut it back inside about the 10 to score. And now Estacada going to go for 2 on the conversion. They run a full house, off-stacked I backfield. Quarterback in the shotgun, and they get Tillamook to jump off sides. So half the distance. Now it's only 1.5 yards to go. As the Cheesemakers, a little bit rattled right now, I think.
Absolutely. Well, they thought they had this thing pretty well under control, and they let him out of the cage, right? They had him on the 2. That's
a 99.5-yard drive after the penalty. Going to run a sweep to the right side with the quarterback trying to get to the outside, and he does. 2-point conversion is good, and it's 8-0. Estacada, 7:42 left to play in the first half.
Oh, and there's a late flag.
There is a flag, and it is holding.
Oh, boy, but to see that made up for the inadvertent flag, that was late.
That was a late flag. He had already gone in, but the holding penalty is called on 52. And now it looks like they will probably attempt the extra point by way of kick as they bring the kicker into the ball game. That'll be Mateo Burgess, a freshman. So Burgess, this will actually be a 30-yard field goal, but an extra point value, as Keller will be the holder again. The ball will be placed at the 20 when they snap it. They wait. A little bit high, but the kick is up. Boy, he's got a great leg, and he put it through into the hedge in the far end, and it disappears, and it is 7-0 Estacada. 7:42 left to play in the first half. We'll be back in 1 minute. Welcome back to Cheesemaker Football. So the Cheesemakers find themselves down.
Yeah, that was a long drive. That ended up going 7 plays, 93 yards. If you count the penalty, 97 yards, I'm sorry. If you count the penalty yardage, it's 99.5. But it was 3 minutes and 20 seconds. Only took 5 plays. Tillamook's got to get that ship turned around right. And the best way to respond is by putting points on the board right now.
Cheesemakers will be back to return the kick. The freshman kicker gets ready to kick it away. We know that he has a good leg because he just demonstrated that on a long extra point. High, end over end, going to be kicked all the way to the end zone.
Don't see that very often at the high school level, do you?
As a freshman. Wow, nice job.
One way to get your varsity letter, right?
Mateo Burgess, also a quarterback. Keep an eye on that kid. As the Cheesemakers will take over at their own 20. And we'll see what they can do now coming out, as they've had some success in different areas, but not consistent success anywhere in particular. Offset back in the backfield behind Matt Silvera. He's going to throw right to the bubble, and it is caught. I thought he might have dropped it. Now they're going to reverse field. Need to get a block. There's a good one. Gets around the near side. Chris Silvera at the 30, at the 40. Cuts back and gets the grain at the 45, 48-yard line.
He reversed the field, and his brother was the one that sealed the edge.
Matt, the quarterback, was the one who actually sprung him in the end as he headed back inside and then broke all the way back across the formation. The Cheesemakers did a nice job not picking up any blocking penalties in that, and Tillamook comes out with a 29-yard gain on the first play on that bubble screen to the right that actually went all the way to the left.
Flowing hard. You talked about it, right?
I did talk about that earlier, how hard they're flowing, which means you need to misdirect your field any chance you get. McCrae goes on the inside, steps up, doesn't get much there, maybe a yard or two. It'll be second down, and we'll call it 8. 7 minutes left. Tillamook has been way more successful in the air tonight, yardage-wise, than they've been on the ground.
Yeah, so they got 70 yards in the air. They've thrown the ball 6 times, completed 4 of them. Well, it's taken a little while to get to the huddle.
Yeah, and we know that the guy in the backfield
doesn't mind blowing the whistle.
He's got a quiver finger on that watch, I'll tell you that. 3 receivers to the near side. McKibben at the center, snaps back, going to run option to the right side. Pitches to McCrae. McCrae needs a block, doesn't get it. Out across the 50 down to the 47-yard line. Werner actually did a pretty good job blocking him initially, but then when he turned him out, McCrae went out as well, and the defensive back, who's also the quarterback, Keller, did a nice job coming up, wrapping him up, and taking him down. Gain of 2, and that could have gone for a whole lot more.
Yeah, it could have. Landon was in a position where he had to maintain that block for quite a while because it was a little slow in getting there, and then he had sort of lost contact, and Eli had to make a choice. And Landon had released the kid to the outside, and that's where Eli ended up. That's where Eli ended up, on the outside.
3rd down and 6. Got a question there whether or not you block that guy or if you run him off. That'd be a different decision. Motion across the formation. Going to hand off Weeks. Good hole. Gets first down. Inside the 40 and then runs over the defensive back. He was still on his feet, but apparently touched his knee at the 35. But it will be first down, Cheesemakers. That gives a little bit of a feel of misdirection because you ran formation across, motion across, looking like the fly sweep, and then you hand it back to the back, going back the other way. And I think if you can get these linebackers moving one way or the other, you're going to find pretty good gaps out there.
Yeah, and Austin did a really nice job getting his inside shoulder, that's his left shoulder, through the hole. He really had to throw his shoulder sideways, skinny up, get through the hole, and then immediately snapped his hips around and made good, solid contact.
Motion. And the Cheesemakers jump off sides. It was Chris Silvera on the far side that jumped, and that'll be a 5-yard penalty. The Cheesemakers cannot afford mistakes like that. That hurt them on the last possession as well.
Silly penalty.
Yeah, split end when the ball's going to be run the other direction. No reason for Silvera, Chris, to be in too big a hurry there, but he was. 5:12 left to play in the half. 7-0, Estacada. Estacada 1-1 on the season. Cheesemakers 2-0 on the season. First 2-0 start in 14 years.
Oh, really? Is that what it is?
That's what I heard. I actually didn't look that up, but I do believe it. It's been a long time. First and 15, Cheesemakers. Showing blitz. Backfield, they hand off. McCray gets a hole on the right side. Inside the 35, on his feet, driving. Inside the 30 now. Still on his feet, driving.
And
they finally ripped the ball loose. And they're lucky that was not a fumble. That was just a second away from being a fumble. Instead, they're going to mark him all the way down at the 26-yard line. They let him stay in the middle of that scrum and keep pushing forward. And finally, Keller came up and ripped the ball loose.
Pick up 14.
They blew the whistle just before then. Fortunate break for the Cheesemakers there. First and 15 to a second and short. Second and about a yard. Weeks back in at running back. Weeks takes it straight ahead.
Ooh.
And he runs into a brick wall.
Offensive line pulled, but he didn't run to where they were pulling from.
He gets almost to the 25.
Just on his own, 146 pounds of him.
And that'll be close to the first down. I think it's going to be a hair short. As they will set the ball down, and it will be third and very short now, less than a yard.
That's a very nice spot, I would say.
That was a very kind spot.
What's the white hat doing in the Tillamook huddle?
Calling a play, I hope.
I think he was checking wristbands.
It'll be third down and short. Weeks will come up left side.
5 seconds to go. Snap the ball.
Tight set, and they'll hand off to Weeks. Right side, got a hole. Got enough for the first down, a little bit more. Thrown out of bounds at the 20 as Weeks picks up 5 when he only needed a few inches. And the Cheesemakers drive is still alive. 3:17 left to play in the half.
6 rushes and 30 yards for Austin Weeks, as he's done a really nice job here in this drive, running the ball hard.
He also read that as it was stuffed up inside. He bounced to the outside and got the easy first down.
There's a time and a place for that, right?
There is, just not every time.
Not every time. And it's tough. It's tough to make that decision.
Cheesemakers look back to the sideline for a play.
Austin's on the side. He took his hat off. He's stretching out his back.
At the 3-minute mark we go. McCray back in. And McCray will get it right side. Again, kicks it outside, and down he goes there. And that's one where bouncing it outside probably wasn't the right choice.
Because he had a pulling guard that had already gotten wider than he is, and so he tried to get wider than his pulling guard instead of tucking in his back pocket.
And the idea behind that, if your guard is pulling and got wider than you, they're going to kick out on somebody. You should be on their hip to the inside. Pretty hard to seal a guard going around that once he gets past that tackle. No gain on the play, second down and 10. 3 receivers near side. Play action going to throw left side to Chris Silvera. Makes a cut, but gets tackled after he made the catch at the 20. Goes down to about the 16. And it'll be a gain of 3 on the play, but bring up third down and a long 7. In a 4-down situation here at the 17-yard line of Estacada. 1:57 left to play in the half. Still plenty of time with all 3 timeouts remaining.
Third ball Chris has caught so far in the half. 42 yards total offense.
Estacada's defensive backs are not very big, but they
close hard, don't they?
They really tackle well, too.
Yep.
Same set, other direction. That's Silvera back to throw. Pressure, in trouble. Bubble screen, inside drop there. Wasn't going anywhere. Well, it might have if he'd have caught it clean. But Matt was under pressure, backpedaling. They picked a good time to run that bubble screen, but they just had to get it from point A to point B. And now you're faced with 4th and long with 1:34 left to play in the half. Cheesemaker's going to go for it, but not before they call a timeout. We'll take it as well. 7-0, Estacada with 1:34 left, back in 1 minute. Welcome back to Cheesemaker football. They got one play here. If they want to have a good shot of scoring in this half for the Cheesemakers, ball's at the 16, make that 17-yard line.
Well, it's not desperate enough for the hook and ladder.
No, not that time.
Not yet.
But they are down 7-0. Sure be nice to get a score here. Quick snap. Cheesemakers back to throw. Throw it down the middle. Landon Werner catch at the 5, down at the 3, and there's a flag down in the backfield. That might be a late hit, I would assume.
That was a great catch by Landon.
It was a great
catch. He
catch.
Just snapped that out of the air with his hands. Great ball thrown through the middle of the field, through traffic. Stand up strong. You're junior. Step forward, throw it off that back foot. Man, that looked good. Landon caught it with his hands, didn't let it get it into his chest. Solid.
Personal foul, roughing the passer against Estacada as well. That should be half the distance to the goal line on top, and the Cheesemakers will have first down inside the 3 at about the 1.5, I believe. They haven't.
14 yards.
Boy, that was a big 14 yards there on a 4th and 7, and the Cheesemakers have it at the 1.5-yard line. Weeks back in. Halfback left. The official sets the clock and gets ready to go. Hand off. Weeks right side. Drives. Hits it at the line. In for the score, and the Cheesemakers are within 1. That was a great scoring drive by the Cheesemakers. Clutch play there.
All the way back at the 20, right?
As Tillamook takes it 80 yards. And now they will try to tie the game with Richardson in to attempt the kick. Nicely done. Big 4th down play there on a clutch pitch and catch from Silvera to Landon Werner. And Richardson will set up soccer-style kick from the 10 for the tie. Good snap. Kicks up. And he missed it left. He pulled it. Cheesemakers trail by 1. 1:24 left to play in the half. We'll be back in 1 minute. Welcome back to Cheesemaker Football. Randy Shield and Nathan Radcliffe, your broadcast crew. Is the Cheesemakers
They go 12 plays, 80 yards, 6 minutes and 40 seconds, I think.
Wow.
Great drive. It opened up, remember, with Chris catching that tunnel screen and reversing the field for 29. 4th and 7, they pick up 14 for Landon. Good, solid scoring drive right there.
Estacada on the kickoff return from the 20. Back up to the 30 and down to the 34-yard line, and they'll have 1 minute and 19 seconds left in the half to try to go the distance and put some points, although we saw from their kicker they'd probably get it down to about the 20 and have a shot.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, he stuck it in the laurel hedge. They had to send a couple little kids into that 8-foot thick laurel hedge trying to find that football in the dark and all the nasty spiders. And
Laurel's just the greatest. I grew up in a laurel hedge. I believe my parents made me sleep in it. I know they made me cut it every single year.
Oh, you still love cutting your laurel hedge now, Randy.
I hate laurel hedges. And I have one about 200 yards long around the district office.
That's fun, isn't it?
1:19 left to play in the half, 7-6. Estacada with the lead.
Broke their set, didn't they?
Quarterback draw. Up the middle, breaks one tackle, but then ran right back into him again.
Brian Rieger just does a great job right there. Junior Brian Rieger just fights it off, stands him up, grabs the quarterback, holds on.
He missed him the first time. He wrapped him up, swung him around, and Keller got discombobulated, ran straight back into Reeder again. And now Estacada wants timeout. We'll keep this one right here. 1:02 left to play in the half. Cheesemakers 2-0 on the year. Estacada 1-1 on the year. Estacada lost pretty big to Staten and take that one trip down the road Banks pretty much handled Staten after that. I talked to Banks superintendent. He said, my goodness, Banks is a good football team.
Well,
that's next week.
That's just that Banks might have a good football team?
Every year.
What do they got, 380 kids at the high school?
Yeah, about that.
Somehow they can find 40 of them to play football over and over and over again for, I don't know, 20 years?
Years they've done that well. Great football program out there. I think Buchanan's out. I'm not sure that Lenahan is not coaching them now.
Yeah, I do believe that to be true. You've missed like the last 4 Banks games.
Yeah, I feel really bad about that.
Yeah, I'm going to return the favor next weekend.
Yeah,
so
I deserve it.
No, you don't deserve anything. Randy.
Second down at 13. They called timeout. You think they're going to throw? They do. Back to throw right side, looking in the flats. And it got about halfway to him, incomplete.
If you're playing cricket, that's a pretty good pitch.
That was
bounced off the ground. That would have knocked the wickets over.
That was a horrible throw by Keller. And it'll be third down.
They got to be careful. They're going to have to punt this thing back.
Third down and 13. Now you got to wonder if they're going to try to run the ball.
Yeah, and I'd take my linebackers and maybe walk them back about a step and a half.
Cheesemakers
don't over pursue this.
Cheesemakers are not afraid to try to score with 15, 20 seconds left. They did it with 16 last week on 2 plays that ended with no time left on the clock and the win. Split wide both directions again. And they do. Back boomer way off. Quarterback sets up, and he's going to run a sweep to the near side. In against the grain he goes, and wrapped up there by Weeks, who almost missed him as Keller ducked in and ran back inside. And now Kai Johnson is going to ask for timeout with 42 seconds remaining. Cheesemakers, I think, are going to go after this. And I will tell you, they have a shot of going after a punt because the snap of Estacada is shaky at best.
They, unlike Tillamook, which snaps a fairly long snap every time, in Estacada's offense, this is just up in your crotch. And so to get that ball all the way back to a punter is a fundamentally different action for your snapper.
And it is a slow, no-spin wobbler back to the punter, who actually ends up having to field it about 10 yards deep because that's all the further they snap it. Cheesemakers certainly could have a shot at blocking a punt here.
Well, you got to put your athletes on the edge and go run, and both Kuhn and Boomer are pretty young, but, man, those 2 boys can go get it.
Oh, boy, they can.
They're
both sophomores.
Both sophomores, and they are good athletes. And you're going to see more of them offensively as the year goes on and into next year. Right now they're pretty raw football-wise, and so they can survive defensively because of that athleticism.
Tillamook has some good young athletes. And on 4th down and 4, Cheesemakers will send Silvera back as they'll get set up. Doesn't look like they're going for a block here.
Nope, it doesn't.
As they get set up, and it's a fake. Going to run the option to the far side. Pitch to the backside, and wrapped up by Boomer and down.
Yeah.
Great play as the Cheesemakers have the ball on the 35-yard line, still with 2 timeouts remaining, I believe, and 35 seconds left to play in the half, trailing by 1.
Why would you do that?
Well, that's maybe because you're afraid to snap the ball deep to your punter. I'm sure they thought Tillamook was going to come after it, and Tillamook did not. They never showed that they were going to try to block that at all. So the Cheesemakers now have an opportunity of their own. The first time in this whole first half that the game has slowed down a little bit. 7-6, Estacada leads.
They broke the huddle with 12 right there.
And that is not allowed?
No.
The idea behind that is you can't have 12 guys in the huddle and run like 3 of them towards the far sideline, so you send 3 defenders towards that and then have one of them step off the field.
Right. You got to have the set personnel that you're going to run the set with, the play with in the huddle. And that's kind of up to quarterback, too, because the quarterback, Matt, was the last one in.
Yeah.
And he has to know that Zeke had not come out of the huddle yet. And so he has to not join the huddle, tell Zeke to get out, and then he can join the huddle. And so at some level, that's on Matt because he has to know everything that's going on.
Splitting the slot on the near side. Hand off straight up the middle. McCrae not going to get much there, and Tillamook will call timeout, I believe. Nope, they're going to go straight to the line and run another play. Clock's running at 23 seconds. Ball moved out to the hash mark.
This is a good opportunity, isn't it?
Oh, yeah. 2-minute offense here. Going to go back to throw. Throws left side. McCauley inside, now back out. Gets a block. He's going down the sidelines at the 30. Has a guy on the outside at the 25. To the 15, down to the 12 with 4 seconds left, and the Cheesemakers will call timeout. Wow. It looked like it might be the hook and ladder on the near side. McCauley spun back inside and then got some room to the outside, started out running people. The weird thing there was just on his outside hip was Kenny Kramer.
He's a Poland guard.
If he'd handed the ball to Kramer and blocked, or if Kramer would have moved to the inside, they may very well have scored. And the Cheesemakers are going to attempt the field goal. This would be about a 31-yard field goal.
26 yards.
Richardson has the opportunity to make up for that missed extra point right here. Ball will be set at the 20.
You tell them what shows flashes, don't they?
Oh, they do.
Yep.
They've got a lot of good athletes on the field. So Richardson, it'll be a 30-yard field goal attempt. Good snap. Kicks up. It looks good. It is. And the Cheesemakers, with no time left, take the lead into the locker room, 9-6. Nice stop, nice drive, and a great kick by Richardson, his first field goal of the year as the Cheesemakers lead 9-6 here at the half. We're going to take a 1-minute break. We'll be back after this. Welcome back to Cheesemaker football and halftime, where the Cheesemakers lead 9-7 over the Estacada Rangers in a really good first half of football. It went back and forth in the first quarter. Nobody could dent the board, but in that second quarter, Estacada Cheesemakers backed them up actually to about the 3-yard line, and then they had a penalty that took them to the 1.5, and then they had a loss that took them almost to the safety range, but it was about the 6-inch line, 6-inch yard line.
6-inch yard line.
Yep. The 6-inch line.
Would that be the 1/6 yard mark?
Something like that.
I think that's a sixth of a yard, right?
And
because a foot is a third of a yard, right? And 6 inches is a half of a foot, and so a half of a third is a sixth.
It would be half of a third of a yard.
Yes, so it's a sixth of a yard, the 6-yard mark.
There it is, the 6-yard mark. Now we know that it's not the 6-inch mark; it's the 6-yard mark.
There we go.
Glad we got that figured out.
Aren't you
I was
glad
in the middle of my story.
Oh, were you? I didn't notice that.
And my story then, from that point, Estacada drove the ball down the field in 5 plays and scored. And that was the first score of the ball game.
Call it what you want.
They ended up going 97 yards on 7 plays, 3 minutes and 20 seconds off the clock. Drury went 47 yards on a pitch sweep to the outside for the score. They went for 2 and made it, but it was called back on a penalty, and then they kicked the extra point, and it was 7-0 Estacada.
Oh, and they could have kicked that from Malala, too, and made it.
A kid, freshman, has a leg. So the Cheesemakers then, talking about the leg, kid kicked it into the end zone. Cheesemakers got it to their own 20. On the first play, they threw a bubble screen to Chris Silvera. He went 29 yards, got their back off the wall, got it out around midfield, and then the Cheesemakers started their drive. They took 11 more plays to go the rest of the distance and stick it in for the scorer. It was Weeks who took it in from the 2-yard line. for the score. The big play there, 4th down and 7 from the 15-yard line, and they curl route across the middle to Landon Warner on the pass, and Landon made a nice catch there, and the Cheesemakers got the first down and a roughing the passer penalty, and all of a sudden they're knocking at the door, and one play later they took it in. They were down by only one, attempted the extra point, but Richardson missed it left, and so Tillamook trailed it 7-6. Tillamook kicked off. Estacada went 4 and out. They tried to fake punt on 4th down, and they might question that call right now, as you did at the time. Gave the ball back to the Cheesemakers at the Estacada 35, and the Cheesemakers, in just 3 plays, moved it down. McCauley had a big 26-yard gain, stopped the clock with only 4 seconds remaining. Cheesemakers called timeout. Richardson came on, and a 30-yard field goal, and the Cheesemakers had the lead, 9-7. That doesn't seem monumental at this case, but it didn't seem monumental last week either when it was 7-7 and Tillamook turned the ball over and didn't get it in the end zone. That 3 points could be huge by the end of this game. Tillamook leads at 9-7 at the half. We'll have the halftime stats after this word from our sponsors. Welcome back to Cheesemaker Football. Tillamook leads 9-7 at the half.
Is this not a great place to watch football?
Oh, great place to watch a football
Now,
game.
it is not fancy and glitzy and
it's
new,
old school.
right? It is old school, wooden bleachers, press box set on the front, right on the edge of the stand.
On top of the roof.
On top of the roof. And there is absolutely no room between the stands and the side of the field. You know, if you think about like what YC has, right? They've got an 8-lane track, and then they have basically like a high jump pit, seemingly outside the track. You're 45 yards from the action. Here, you're about 45 inches from the action.
It's very similar to Baker High School. Baker High School, where they play the Shrine game.
Right.
It's got a hedge around it like this, a very intimate, tight setting where there's very little room on each sideline for the players, but it puts the fans right on the field and creates one of the best atmospheres there is.
Yeah. And great hospitality, man. Everybody here has just absolutely treated us well. And so I really, really appreciate the opportunity to come here. And I think this is the second game we've broadcast from Estacada, and it definitely has a feel to it. And so I didn't remember much except the hedge, and I remember the field was hard.
Yeah, and it still is.
And it still is. And it has not been a summer that has necessarily lent itself to a nice, soft field. It's going to soften up here tomorrow or Sunday would be my guess.
A week from now, this might be a lot softer.
Well, it's kind of like Banks. You know, Banks will look great, and then they'll bring in a junior high youth tournament and just rototill the field, and then you show up on Friday after that Wednesday and go, good Lord, I didn't bring my hip boots.
Cheesemakers lead 9-7 at the half. What about the stats from the first half?
Well, Tillamook Cheesemakers threw the ball really, really, really well. You know, they threw the ball 11 times, and Matt completed 7 of them. And he looks much more poised this week than he did in the first 2. And some of that is that Estacada is not bringing a ton of pressure, but also Matt is starting to mature, and he's nowhere near as anxious. He has a good idea of where he's throwing the ball. And he's only thrown really one bad ball, and that was the ball over the middle to Sean McCauley where he hit the linebacker in the back of the head. And that, I think, he had kind of made the decision that he was going to throw the ball to that spot, and he was going to throw it on step number 3, and it didn't make any difference what he saw. But except for that, he's made really good, solid decisions. 102 yards in the air to go 42 yards on the ground, 144 yards on 28 snaps. Estacada on the other side is completely one-sided. 19 rushes for 122 yards. 3 balls have been in the air. All 3 of them have hit the ground. And so they have 22 snaps for 122 yards. And so a very one-dimensional football team. This is a team that you want to get a lead on, and you want them to force them to throw the ball. Now, maybe they'll never do it. Maybe they just won't break. Like, no, we think we can score on the ground just as quickly as we can score in the air, and we're not going to do it. I want to see it, though, is what I want to do. Estacada is led by Drury. He has 105 yards on his 11 carries. It was padded by a couple 20-yard runs, and then the long 50-yarder, 47-yarder that put it in the end zone for the Estacada Rangers there at the first drive of the second quarter. Weaver has carried the ball 4 times for 16 yards. And, I've got it wrong. Estacada completed one.
They did, the one-handed catch
because
on the sideline.
Riddell has 12 yards. So we'll have to stick that in the stats because I'd hate to be inaccurate. Tillamook Cheesemakers, on the other hand, have 3 first downs on the ground, 5 in the air, 1 via penalty, and rushing has been led by Austin Weeks. He has 32 yards on 7 carries. McCrae started out at -1, but he's got to 20 by the time he's got his 6 carries. And throwing the ball, Caleb Warner has 2 catches for 30. Chris Silvera has 3 catches for 42. Landon has that huge catch for 14. And McCauley has the big catch that allowed the field goal to be brought in for 26 yards. And so if you think about, who are the kids that are touching the football, it's Eli McCrae, Austin Weeks, Sean McCauley, Chris Silvera, Caleb Warner, Landon Warner. You've got a wide variety of skill players. And that's really what Tillamook has for the first time in a long time. They've got good athletes on the outside that allow plays to be made, even if there isn't necessarily a lot of space. You've got kids that are able to make plays athletically, and that really allows a lot of freedom offensively to experiment and try things and get better over time as the kids learn how to play football.
Offensive line is matched up pretty evenly tonight with Estacada as well, and so that certainly has helped. With the Cheesemakers hold a 9-7 lead at the half. A bunch of first, second, third graders entertaining the crowd with some flag football down in the field right now on a beautiful night here in Estacada in the foothills of the Cascade on a great Friday night football night. It doesn't get any better than this. Tillamook with a 2-point lead. We'll take a 1-minute break. We'll be back after this. Welcome back to Cheesemaker football.
You want pandemonium?
That's a second-grade dog pile right there.
In flag football, no less,
yeah,
right?
That was classic. Cheesemakers lead 9-7. Nathan, what else happened in Tillamook High School this week athletically?
Well, a volleyball started league, and so the girls traveled to Banks and then on Tuesday and traveled to Scappoose on Thursday. Won both matches. The Banks match went 5. Alternating win-loss, win-loss, win. Fortunately, you start with the win.
Boy, they have been clutch in Game 5s, haven't they?
They have been, and they really just laid an egg. I think it was in the second set. I think it was 25-10 in the second set. Just came out and just got flattened. The girls said that it took a little bit to get warmed up on Thursday against Scappoose, but they finally got it turned around and got 3 sets in against Scappoose. And so the girls started out 2-0 in league, and that's a great place to find yourself. Boys soccer got a pickup game against Taft Tigers yesterday, and Taft has got a quality program and ended up beating our boys 2-0. And the kids said that they struggled a little bit with playing with energy and also played a little hero ball, where I'm going to try to take you 1-on-5, and that doesn't work in any sport, and it's really egregious in soccer as the boys lose. That was the only game that the guys had. Girls soccer traveled down to Junction City. And again, man, Randy, this is the third game in a row. They've been right in the middle of it. It was 2-2 at half, and then started to wilt a little bit in the second half and ended up losing 5-2. But third game in a row that they've been right in the middle of it, deep in the game. And so Berto Maciel has the girls playing hard, and they're eventually it's going to click. It's going to turn over. They're going to realize how to tighten up and get tough in those crucial moments. And so the girls are playing excellent soccer. Cross country is traveling to Lane Community College tomorrow to run the state meet, pretty much. And they're
it's not actually state
yet. Not, but it's the state course.
The course,
I should say. As are they going to run the cheerleaders through that? Oh no, they are going to bring the football squad out. And so that's going to be a real interesting. I mean, that's a great opportunity for the kids to see what the state tournament, the field looks like. What does the course look like? And we'll see what those are. The girls obviously are super heavyweight favorites. The guys pretty much are only challenged by Staten. Yeah. And Staten is not going to be at the race tomorrow, and so we won't be able to see how they match up there with their top runner in action. Carter Kunert was not available for the Tillamook, and so Tillamook felt that they were down their best runner. That gave Staten definitely a leg up on that particular competition.
So the Cheesemakers, really good start to a school year, athletically and atmosphere-wise. Things have felt good within the school, and obviously a lot of that, you can't minimize what football does to the atmosphere of a building.
No, I mean, you got 35 kids over there, plus your 16 freshmen. You know, you got 50 kids out of a school of 600 that are having some success and enjoying themselves. Oh, I didn't talk about JV football on Monday. Made the long trip down to Junction City. Going to Junction City on a Monday. How does that sound, right?
Not good.
Not good. Ended up winning 24-0.
Nice.
Played well, competed hard, got 4 touchdowns, didn't get an extra point. But, hey, you know, we'll deal with that later.
Cheesemakers have some good things going and some brighter futures ahead here, as we've seen a lot of sophomores who are contributing in a positive way on this field at the varsity athletes this year as well. Tillamook leads 9-7 at halftime. We're going to take our final 1-minute break. We'll be back with the start of the second half after this. Welcome back to Cheesemaker Football. As the Cheesemakers get ready for the start of the second half. Tillamook in their last 2 possessions.
Yep. Put points on the board.
They did. Yep. So 9-7 with a lead, and they'll get the ball to start the second half of play. As you can feel the air change. Fall is upon us.
Yes, it is. There's no doubt. I get in the car at 6 o'clock in the morning to go sweat to the oldies, and, it's 49.
Yeah.
And,
fall is in the air.
Yep.
All of a sudden, there's something internal in me that all of a sudden starts feeling fishy. There's just something that feels like fall Chinook.
There we go.
As soon as that happens, then I start getting a little antsy, start watching the forecast, start hoping for
half an
inch
of rain isn't going to be enough.
No, 3 inches, 6 inches, 12 inches, that'd help you.
See, and it's best done in August, right? Let's get that river up, and let's get those guys smelling fresh water, and then they'll be in for months, right?
Yep, love that. Love that.
That happened, what, was that 03 when we had the roof off the high school?
That's the last time it happened in August. Rained for about 4 days when we didn't have a roof on the high school.
Well, it had been raining inside that building for about 15 years, so it really didn't make a lot of difference.
We haven't really actually seen any ill effects of that either, so...
I just remember before the school district is able to get that bond through, there would be trash cans in the hallway with water dripping through fluorescent light fixtures.
Yep.
Right? And
about 100 of them.
Yeah, and then you would just sort of, the kids understood, and they would weave their way through,
Yep.
And dodge all the trash cans. And it was the fact that it was coming through the light fixtures,
Yep.
which really made me go, wow, is this a good idea?
That was the 2001 bond. We've just passed our next bond, and it's already done some good work. If you had a child at East School, you would know that.
If you live on Alder, you know that.
That's very true. As that traffic flow drastically improved, and that was the first bond project that we had, even though we just sold those bonds. Actually sold them at a premium. Saved people about $400,000 in refinancing an old one and got an extra $700 on the front end, so things have gone well. Estacada, we hope this half goes well as they'll kick off a low-line drive near side straight out of bounds.
And that one isn't touched, so that's going to cause some laundry.
That'll be ball at the 35 if I can guess right.
Which it's a guess.
What that tells you is at some point when you kick the ball out of bounds, you got it at 35. That much I know. I don't know if it's still that way or not.
No. But sometimes it's the 40. But maybe that's on television.
Maybe it is.
Right?
Who knows?
But it is the 35. So we'll act like we know what we're doing.
Well, we guessed right.
Yep, that's right.
So ball hash mark right.
That's why we get paid $30 a night.
That's exactly right. You gotta do the job if you want the big money. Cheesemakers get the ball to start the second half with a 2-point lead. Matt Silvera, quarterback, going to hand off McCauley left side. Fullback built quickly.
That was close.
McCauley almost squirted through there.
He got a lot of contact at the hole, but somehow he was able to get his hips through, but they weren't square. And so when his feet landed, again, he wasn't moving upfield.
McCauley's got a little quicker burst than either of the other two backs of the Cheesemakers.
Weeks or McCray, yep.
McCray or Weeks. Gain of 1 on the play, long 1. Second down and 8 or 9. Same set. Play action this time. Going to throw over the middle. Warner with a reception. First down out across midfield.
You know, Caleb Warner didn't touch the ball last week.
First 2 weeks, he has not had a ball thrown to him.
Well, that's true. He did recover a 4-yard fumble.
Yep. But he did not have a ball thrown to him. That was a nice catch there by Caleb Warner across the middle on a little slant route for the first down across midfield to the 49. Nicely thrown there by Matt Silvera as well. Hand off to McCauley again. McCauley didn't get the block made on the far side. He doesn't make it back to the line of scrimmage. As the offensive lineman for the Cheesemakers out there was Kenny Kramer, and Kenny just got sealed down. All he had to do was turn his man to the outside, and he had a pretty good hole off his hip. But
couldn't get his hips turned.
Nope. Defender just ate him up and took McCauley down. A loss of 1 on the play. Second down and 11.
Caleb Warner has 3 catches for 44 yards and has done a really nice job of going up and getting the football. He is a heck of an athlete.
Oh, and big, strong kid as well. Second down and long. Back to throw again. Pumps left, throws inside. Warner again. Complete inside the 40. Down to the 35. That was a pump fake on the bubble screen or a swing pass, and then Silvera pulled it back down, and Warner was wide open.
See, and that's the stuff that really needs to happen, and it can happen slowly over time as kids get comfortable and coaches get comfortable with what they have and the wrinkles they're going to put in.
First down at the 35, straight up the middle this time. Breaks 1 tackle. McCray inside the 30, 25, going to pick up 10, 11, 12 yards, and down he goes at the 23-yard line. Little change up there. Straight ahead went McCray, and the Cheesemakers moving a little tempo now. In and out they go. Cheesemakers get set. Defender barely gets off the field. Going to hand off, sweep to the right side. This one's Weeks. It is Weeks. Austin Weeks going to carry it to the 21. As Weeks will pick up 2 on the play. They almost caught one of the defenders of Estacada not getting off in time as Tillamook called 2 plays in the huddle and ran them quick. Cheesemakers moving the ball on the opening possession of the second half.
You got to throw to Warner again. Look at the...
Oh, a huge, a massive cushion.
14 yards, 15 yards.
15-yard cushion. You got a guy one-on-one out there with him. Motion. Silvera, he'll go on the sweep. He turns it up, cuts back, Going to dive inside to the 15-yard line. He'll pick up about 6 on the play, and Chris Silvera doesn't normally like to turn it back inside, but he certainly did there, and it was the right choice.
For as much as I talk about Chris's desire to run north or east and west, that time he did. He run north and south.
Big play here, 3rd down and 3 from the 11. It'll be Weeks straight up the middle. I think he's going to get enough for the first down, and he blew his own man up. Brian be running.
Brian Rieger got us a big old 35. Actually, it's 53 written across his back because Austin hit him pretty hard.
Rieger trying to come across to make a block about 3 yards downfield, and that's what stopped Weeks. McCauley comes back in at fullback now. First down from the 13. Make it the 12.
Estacada's on their heels, no?
They are. McCauley going to go sweep to the outside. Need a block to get a great block by Chris.
And a great play by Estacada.
Estacada came up and made the tackle as McCauley only gets back to the line of scrimmage. Maybe actually a loss in the play as a fantastic open field tackle on the outside.
But the only reason he got that much is because Chris Silvera.
Oh, great peel block.
Did a great job peeling that block.
2nd down and 11 from the 13. Chris Silvera, right side, split all the way out. They'll hand off. Going to run to the right, coming up. Breaks one tackle, but still not a lot of room there as McCauley will get only to about the 11. And it'll be 3rd down and long. Not so sure the Cheesemakers aren't setting up Warner on the far side now, as they now have him to the wide side of the field, or they certainly have the wide side of the field left as the ball goes back to about the original line of scrimmage of the 12, and it's going to be 3rd and not goal, as it can get down to the 2 and get a first down, but 3rd and long. Warner in the slot left, double slot left. Silvera, shotgun set. They bring the fullback out to McCray. McCray chopped down there as Estacada had that well defended on the near side. A loss all the way back to the 17. And it'll be 4th down and long. Looks like the Cheesemakers are going to go for it. I don't know if this is outside of Richardson's range or not. He kicked a 30-yarder. This would be a 35-yarder. Probably right on the edge. And so the Cheesemakers going to go for it on 4th.
Well, what was interesting is like that drive just had momentum, and then it stalled out.
Yeah.
And it stalls out when the defense makes a couple plays, right?
Came up and made some open field tackles. Here we go, 4th down and long, Cheesemakers. Back to throw. Going to look left, hangs it out. Far side to Wagner. Tipped up and no good. Incomplete as Wagner pushed a little bit to clear some space, but the defender did a nice job. Ball maybe a little bit underthrown, and the Cheesemakers turn it over on down.
Chase had to come to a stop right there in order to be able to try to make a play on the football.
Wagner, a good athlete, but didn't really have a chance on that one. And Estacada was on their heels, and they gave up half a quarter, but they did not give up any points. And now the Cheesemakers will play defense for the first time in a long time, as Drury, the deep back, in the set, the run and shoot set, double split, double slot. Motion. Drury gets it on the handoff, straight up the middle, breaks one tackle, and then dives ahead. He's going to get 6 or 7 yards on the play. They'll move it out to the 24-yard line. It'll be a gain of 6. 2nd down and 4. And they have consistently gotten 5 to 6 yards on first down with that fullback.
If they go to their fullback, right? They've had a harder time if they go to their motion and go to their wings.
Sure have. Quarterback under center, motion the other way, and again, straight into the middle, just double team down. He dives out across the 28 to the 29-yard line and gets the first down. Drury's not a big kid, not terribly athletic, but certainly runs hard as they mark the ball down at the 30. Cheesemakers with a 9-7 lead halfway through the 3rd period of play. Estacada with the ball at their own 30. Quarterback comes up.
Rieger and Reeder have to make the plays here as defensive tackles.
Got to get down. Going to hand off? No, they'll pitch to the outside. Going to try to run to the corner. Not doing much there.
McCauley takes a good angle, doesn't he?
McCauley chased him down and then drug him down. It's going to be a loss of 3 on the play. Estacada has not had a lot of luck going to the outside. Their one big play came when the Cheesemakers stunted both linebackers, and they happened to call a quick pitch to the outside, and that broke them free. But their strength has been between tackles. Second down at 12. We'll see what they go to this time. Cheesemakers, will they stunt this time? No, they're going to pitch to the outside. Werner going to try to chase it down, and he grabbed the mask, and there's the flag.
Yeah.
The ball comes out to about the 34-yard line, and Werner, frustrated with himself, he reached out. He let go of it right away.
But that's what that is poor fundamentals, because you're coming high.
Just too high.
Yep. And if you're lower and your hand's in the wrong spot, then it's going to slide by. You're not going to find anything to grab a hold of in that situation. That's illegal. But you come up a shoulder high, and you're going to find yourself in a bad spot.
It is face mask against the Cheesemakers.
So it's going to be 5 yards from the play.
The Estacada coach is hollering that should not be incidental. I think that was clearly incidental. It just moved his head a slight bit, and he backed off right away. In fact, let go of the tackle right away as well. And that will be a 5-yard penalty. And now instead of 2nd and 12, they'll replay second down again, and it's only 2nd and 3. So you would expect to see the fullback, Drury. No, back in is Weaver. Motion. And there's Weaver to the right side. Dives ahead for that 3 yards. First down. He may have gotten 4 on it, actually, as the ball goes across the 40. And so Estacada makes up for that first down play. And the Cheesemakers still have some cushion defensively with almost 60 yards to their back before Estacada takes the lead. But they're going to have to solve that play.
They are. But, yes. But that play hasn't gone for 60.
No, that's true.
Right? And so the question is do you have the discipline?
And that's what it takes to keep at it. Same set. Here we go. Motion. Quarterback going to keep it this time. Got a good block. Flips outside across the 40, 45, and out of bounds.
Austin, come on. Austin Weeks now jumped in the hole. And near side defensive end, that's going to be Caleb Warner. Had that sealed. And Austin jumped inside, and that's what allowed the pop.
It'll be a gain of 6 on the play. Second down and 4. Make it gain of 5. Second down and 5.
That was quarterback, wasn't it?
It was the quarterback. Has not carried the ball much tonight.
Third time.
Caleb Warner not happy with himself at all there. Says, I had him right there. And then just not much of a block, but just enough to peel him around the corner. And off fullback, Drury. Out to midfield.
Nope, fumbles loose. Nope. Well, you know what? You look at what Landon Warner is doing as a defensive end. He is not coming down.
Nope, not at all.
He boxed across, and he watched that thing.
You got to have the quarterback. Somebody has to have it, otherwise they won't give it to the fullback. Gain of 3 on the play, second down and 1.
No, it's third.
Make that third down and 1. 3:45 left to play in the third.
And so that just must be really frustrating to watch.
Yeah.
Box across and just watch your tackle and near side linebacker have to fight it off.
Against the option, everybody has to have a responsibility. Motion right to left. There's the fullback again. Hit the line this time, but he breaks the tackle. Going to get enough for the first down. Tillamook Adams stopped in the backfield, but could not hang on. And so the first down by Estacada. And now they're all of a sudden putting a drive together.
126 on 16 carries.
Yeah.
For Drury.
That's a pretty good night for Drury. Drury, not the back we saw last week.
No.
For Junction City that ended up going out hurt in that
with
first
an
half.
Achilles is the word on the street.
Oh, really?
That was an Achilles injury.
Wow. First down, Estacada. Motion, going to pitch to the outside. Coming up, cuts back inside and makes the tackle inside the 45 down to the 42-yard line. Another gain of 5, maybe 6 on first down. That was a little bit different look, and the Cheesemakers did a nice job sealing that from the outside, not letting it get around, but the running back, great job turning it back up on the inside and making something out of it. As carrying the ball that time was David Stram. It'll bring up second down and 5. Ball across midfield now at the 42. Cheesemakers drove the ball in the first possession but couldn't stick it in the end zone. Quarterback keeps it, and Weeks chased them down from behind. A loss of 2 on the play. As carrying the ball that time was the quarterback, Nick Keller. And Keller got chased down from behind, one of the few times he hasn't given it to the dive man on the dive option.
Interesting. That's a linebacker position, so that means Ozzy's penetrated the line of scrimmage and then is chasing it down from the backside.
Yeah.
Which means you're ready to be countered.
You certainly should be.
by the far wing.
Third down and 6. Estacada. Big play here. Need a stop if you're the Cheesemakers, which all of you listening probably are. Motion right to left. Going to pitch. No. Play action. Going to go the other way. In trouble in the backfield. Going to go down.
Kenny Kramer.
Kenny Kramer on the sack. Clear back to the 45, and the Cheesemaker defense has held.
But I believe that was Caleb Boomer that had the coverage, as coming out of the backfield was Martinez from his motion. And I think Caleb was the one that caused the pump. And that gave Kenny the time to make the tackle.
Estacada going to go into punt formation. They faked it the last time, but the quarterback is not the up back this time. And there's the snap, a good one this time, and he'll kick it away. A high wobbler right side, hit at the 20 and bounces at the 5.
Oh, and then takes a left
3,
turn.
And then turn left at the 1.
That's exactly what Tillamook's punt did, right?
And there's a flag back at the line of scrimmage. Boy, they probably should not have moved those down markers.
Yeah, they might regret that.
As
I could tell them that the ball was on the 49.
Apparently it's against the Cheesemakers. Otherwise, they would need those down markers back. Apparently the official on the far side never knew. The ball's at the 2-yard line right now. And it is personal foul against Estacada. They're going to take that one.
But it's a dead ball. Oh, offsetting.
So I believe you have to.
See? Oh, don't you replay the down?
Don't you replay the down on offsetting penalties?
Or is that some other level of football?
That's on every level of football.
But it was dead ball. So that was after the play.
Wow, the flag was on the ground when they downed it.
That's true.
That's not after the play.
Yeah, well, he said dead ball.
And
so Kai wants a little love here.
Kai's out there saying, hey, wait a minute. Oh, and the official just waves at him, says, be quiet.
All right, I mean, the game goes quicker that way, don't it?
There you go. 1:06 left to play. In the third period, 9-7, Tillamook with the lead, but they have their backs to the wall right now.
Tillamook made the play, didn't they?
They did.
Defensively, you know, that was a real methodic 5 yards in a cloud of dust drive, and they had the discipline to stick with it and made the play necessary.
McCray, up the middle he goes to the 3. He only gets about a yard out of it. It'll bring up second down and 9 from their own end zone. It's a very similar place to where Estacada took over, and they went a long ways to score, 97 yards. Cheesemakers quickly back to the line of scrimmage. Going to throw right, look right. Now Silvera's going to run. Gets a block to the outside. Oh, he makes a wrong decision, but he stays on his feet. Out across the 5 to the 6, maybe 7-yard line, and it's going to bring up third down at about 5. Looked like he had room on the outside, and all of a sudden he turned it back inside. Ends up giving himself a little bit of room as he takes it out to the 8. It'll be third down and about 4. 15 seconds left to play. In the third period, may or may not get another play off. And I will say not. Cheesemakers break the huddle, but with only 5 seconds remaining. And that will be the end of the third period of play. Tillamook leads 9-7 at the half. They still lead 9-7 after 3. We're going to take a 1-minute break. We'll be back with the final period after this. you replay the down. Welcome back to Cheesemaker football as we head into the final period of play. 9-7, Cheesemakers lead, faced with a third down.
Boy, this is a big third down, isn't it?
It's a big third down with your back against the wall.
All third downs are big, but this one is about field position. This is about punting the ball from your end zone. This is about giving the ball back to Estacada inside the 50 in the fourth quarter in a 2-point ball game. This is a big first down.
Cheesemakers set up in the shotgun. Inside his own 5 is Matt Silvera. They'll run motion. They're going to throw. No, it's quarterback draw. Going to run to the right side, out across the 10. Went too wide, and there's a flag down. It's going to be a penalty anyway. He got enough for the first down. Boy, he made the wrong choice as far as going outside, too.
And that's what caused the holding penalty. He bounced it out to the outside, and the blocker was trying desperately to recover.
Matt needs to know where that first down marker is and just get there. And instead of turning it up and getting the first down, he tried to string it outside, got enough for the first down, but got a hold on the wideout. And the Cheesemakers will get another opportunity, but it's going to be half the distance to the goal from the 6, or from the 11, so it'll take it back to about the 6-yard line, 5.5. And it will be third down again. Boy, certainly had the right opportunity there.
Good play call. They went.
Oh, yeah.
They had four wide in the formation. They ran Eli McCray to the short side of the field and then ran Matt to the wide side of the field. So had the flow going one way, and he ran back the other, except just a little tentative on trying to figure out when he's supposed to go and where he's supposed to.
Just didn't tuck it up and get it when he had the opportunity. So now third down again. Has a chance to make up for it here. They'll split Warner all the way out to the near side. McCauley in the slot. They'll get set. Now he's going to roll left. Looks, throws out into the flats. Cauley with a diving catch at the 20.
There's no way that was aimed at him.
Beautiful throw and catch as McCauley on a down and out of the 20 on a diving grab. They get the first down on 3rd and long.
You really think that ball was thrown to him?
Oh, it was beautiful.
Okay, it was thrown to a spot, and McCauley ran there. We'll put it in the books as a 14-yard gain.
Rolled left and threw it on the money.
But he just threw it to a blank spot in the field, and Sean made the catch.
McCauley did everything, just like the diving catch he did to end the game last week. Comes up with a huge one there. They'll hand off. Right side. Hit at the line of scrimmage. No gain there. As Weeks gets it. Cheesemakers got beat in the line of scrimmage as coming up that time was Mitchell Zerker. And his man just peeled off his block and ran right into Weeks for the tackle.
But, this is the 3rd game of the season. That's the first time we've talked about Mitch Zerker. And as an offensive lineman, you know what that is?
Yeah, you don't talk about offensive linemen unless there are mistakes
made. That's really,
usually.
really, really good news. That's the plight of the offensive lineman, right?
Yep, no doubt. Cheesemakers 2nd down and long. Shotgun set, going to run right on the option. Now he's going to keep it. Silvera.
There it is.
That's across. Better. He lowered his head that time. He's going to pick up about 3, but he did it aggressively. Of course, he was out of real estate over there as well as he ended up right on the sideline. It's going to be 3rd down and 7 for the Cheesemakers. A little bit more breathing room.
Yep.
With 10:20 left to play in the game. Cheesemakers.
Matt's throwing a really nice ball.
Yeah, he's done a nice job throwing the ball tonight, and his passing stats show for it.
Absolutely.
They run 3 receivers in the near side again. They spread out all the way on the outside. It's Warner. Going to look right, throws to Warner. It is dropped. Oh, he had enough for the first down and went right through his hand.
Yep, he got in on his shoulder pads. It got to his chest plate.
He would have been out to the 31 and would have had a yard more than he needed, but the Cheesemaker's going to have to punt it away.
Yep.
The good news is they're not punting from their own end zone. The bad news is they're punting.
Yep.
And there's still a lot of time left, 10-16 left to play in the game. The Cheesemakers have had open receivers, and that time...
That's the first time receiver flat-eyes just dropped it.
Yeah.
Right?
Snap back to the punter, low one, but fielded by Richardson. Great kick, and he turns over a spiral all the way back to the 40. Going to return to the near side. Got to keep the edge. And slips the tackle at midfield and out of bounds.
And they're going to get Caleb.
as they are going to call a face mask, I believe. The ball is down at the 42-yard line.
He had his hand inside the helmet.
I don't think he did. Oh, I think they're going to call it on the offense.
Oh, really?
I think they're going to call that a stiff arm on the face mask because I don't think Warner.
There's a second laundry down.
Oh, now we'll see if they actually offset the penalties and replay the down. As Estacada coaches are irate, so it must be against Estacada. As
clear communication, that's what we're experiencing.
Yes, we are.
My guess is the radio audience gets a similar experience of clear communication.
The ball is resting at the Tillamook 41 in great field position. There's also a flag down at the 39 of Tillamook, and there's a flag down at the 46. And so here's the sign. It's a face mask. And they're going to say the face mask was against the kicking team.
But there was a illegal
block against Estacada, and now they're going to replay this down, which makes no sense when you had the double penalties on the last one. When Tillamook got the ball at the 1, they should have replayed that down. And that's really weird because when the official came over, the Estacada coach was irate about the face mask,
right,
which led us to believe that's an offensive face mask, and instead they called that against Caleb Warner. And now they're going to say they're offsetting and we'll kick it again. Somewhere there was a mistake made. I can't tell you exactly where because the conditions say that you can't do the same thing and get different action. A wobbler on the near side needs a bounce, and they get a decent one down inside the 40, and McCauley is there to cover it, and it's at the 37. That's probably all right because Estacada had it at the Tillamook 42. Now the ball's at their own 38. And the Cheesemakers will come out and play defense. So the Cheesemakers lead 9-7 with 9:52 left to play.
Got to make the football
game.
Just make the plays one after another, right?
It's your game to win. I mean, you put yourself in the position to where you can win this ball game.
Absolutely. This is totally winnable, right?
You can do it by playing good defense. Estacada goes with a stacked eye, 4 backs in the backfield, and a wildcat look. As they'll run a sweep to the near side. Wrapped up at the line. That was a great job by Austin Weeks, or that would have gone for some yardage. Gain of 2 on the play. And Estacada had a lot of bodies coming to the near side. The Cheesemakers were outnumbered.
That was, I heard the coaches, they're going to run diesel.
And they ran diesel.
And that's overload.
Cheesemakers need to widen out on that strong
Kenny
side.
Kramer, he takes a little walk out. Ozzie steps down. They got, a 7-man front, 6-man front?
Double tight end. Up the middle they go this time, and McCauley with a submarine stops him after a gain of about 3. It'll bring up 3rd down and 5. As Estacada running back hollers, sustain your blocks. And now, new quarterback, same set. Big play on 3rd and 5 from their own 43. Double tight end on the right side, double fullbacks right side, and the quarterback's going to run it. Keller ahead. And they blew him dead. He's going to keep running. They blew the whistle, and the Estacada fans are going to boo because they said he wasn't down. He was on a player. He jumped up and kept running. It'll be 4th down and about a yard. Estacada fans not real happy with anything happening right now. And the Cheesemakers going to have to hustle to get off the field. Reeder goes out. 4th down and short. 4th and 1. Same set.
Hold your water, boys.
Keller in there. You got a submarine. They're going to run sweep to the right side. He's hit, but he's going to get enough, I think, for the 1st down. He came outside to the near side, and instead of going up the middle, they came around the edge. And the Cheesemakers could not stop it there, and the 1st down is collected. The ball's at their own 49-yard line, and they stay with this stacked eye set. two fullbacks up front, a tailback behind them, and the quarterback, who is now a different back. He's the direct snap back. Wyatt Rydell is in the backfield. Ball is bounced back to him, but he keeps his feet. He's going to dive across the 50 to about the 49. Cheesemakers have to stay down defensively. Tillamook trying to rotate some players in. In comes McKibben. 7:35 left to play. Still a ton of time. Second down and 7.
Ball's going to be in the air on this play.
Cheesemakers have to stay awake. Quarterback Keller back into the ball game. He's going to run naked the other way. Inside dive's going to get about 2 out of it. Somebody's holding the knee. It's McKibben, who tweaked a knee. He's going to stay in. No, he's going to come out of the ball game, but he'll go off on his own. Back into the ball game for the Cheesemakers comes number 60, Randy Hagberg. Third down and 5. Estacada. Ball at the Tillamook 46, 9-7. Cheesemakers lead. They run sweep to the near side. Oh, Cheesemakers were there. They wrap him up. Going to take him down. And the ball's loose. No, they're going to say he was on the ground already.
Austin Weeks was the one that forced that back inside. Kenny Kramer gets the tackle, but Ozzie just jumps through the gap. He's a down lineman once they've gone to this diesel set.
Boy, that was a generous mark. Ball was all the way back to the 47. They're going to mark him up at the Tillamook 49. Either way, it's going to be 4th down and 8. Estacada taking a little while to get the play in. I think they're going to take a timeout. We will as well. 6:10 left to play in the game. Huge 4th down play. Back in 1 minute. Welcome back to Cheesemaker Football. Great ball game.
But we talk about discipline. You know, we talked about the ability to make the plays, and Tillamook has really managed this heavy package very well.
4th down and 9, Estacada, and they're going to go with a heavy package again. Although they have one too many backs in there.
Didn't they? Oh, there it is.
That is breaking the huddle with too many.
Yeah.
And Estacada broke it with 12. They had 3 fullbacks in that time.
To go with 2 tailback and a quarterback, and 5 linemen. That's called cheating.
They were going to go for it, and now they're going to have to punt it away. Yep. And the Cheesemakers. and
That's about the 5th time I've heard a request, a plea to read the real book.
Yes, from the coaches down on the far end, Estacada coaches. And so the Cheesemakers will go back as Estacada gets ready to go into punt formation. They'll set up and kick it away. Kid's got a good leg. Going to go to Chris Silvera, who drops it and falls on it. No, he does not. They turn it over.
No.
Silvera had it, dropped it, fell on it. It squirted loose, and Estacada fell on it, and they will have the ball at the 14-yard line. Critical mistake for the Cheesemakers. After holding him defensively.
All right, let's go play defense, boys.
Yep, time to get the job done. You have half a quarter left. And you know that you can win tight games because you've done it already.
First turnover of the game.
Yep. So Estacada will come back to the line of scrimmage with the ball after the turnover at the 14-yard line. They'll go back to their regular set. Watch for Drury. They get set up. Short motion to the right. Drury up the middle. Gets taken down at about the 11. Going to gain 3, maybe 4 on the play. It'll be a gain of 4. Second down and 6 from the 10. I would be shocked if Estacada gives it to anybody but Drury.
Yeah, no, I don't think you do. I think you just feed 34 the football, and the question is you going to get 6 or are you going to get 3, 7 or 3 out of this, right?
At some time, you bring your linebackers and you take a chance. Ball's inside. Hand it off to the fullback who gets down to about the 7-yard line. Cheesemakers did stunt and actually caused some problems at the mesh point, but Drury carries it to the 7. It'll be third down and about 3. Now, if you hold them, I'm guessing Estacada is going to bring that freshman kicker out.
Absolutely.
Be nice to keep it on the hash mark right. If I were to stunt, I would stunt on the far side, the wide side of the field.
A lot of talking here.
Estacada going to send 2 receivers to the far side. Watch for the sweep. Up under center. And there's the 5-yard delay of game penalty. That guy has been a hawk out there.
No,
they're going to say it's a timeout first. And so Estacada will keep the ball.
That's good. Oh, excuse me. That's good solid coaching right there is what that is. He sees the back judge with his hand up, and about when he counts to 4, he calls timeout.
And he did. And so the official on the near side says, no, he had timeout, wave that flag off. So it's going to be third down again. And they have used their second timeout of the half. Tillamook still has all 3, but 4:44 left to play. There's not a lot of time left on the clock.
It's getting tight. When Tillamook touches the ball the next time, that's going to be their last, full-on drive.
And it won't be any play you want to run drive either. The ball's going to have to be in the air some.
Well, but that's where Tillamook has made their money, and so that's the beauty of what Tillamook does offensively versus what Estacada has limited themselves to. Is that Estacada doesn't have the offensive structure that allows that type of movement downfield, and then Tillamook does. And so Tillamook needs to make a play, keep it to a field goal, and see if you can.
They're down at 3 from the 7-yard line. Motion. Going to pitch sweep to the outside. Comes up, makes a cut, missed the tackle. Got it down to the 5, got it down to the 2. There's a flag down.
Boy, somebody came through pretty good right there for Tillamook. Just flat out missed the tackle.
Yep, just flat missed it. I think it was Silvera.
Silvera. Probably going to be a holding on Estacada based on where it is.
I didn't even see any blockers out there. They dropped the flag at about the 9-yard line.
Oh.
And they're going to wave it off. I don't really know what that would have been because there weren't blockers out there. So the first down goes to Estacada, and they'll have the ball at the 2-yard line with 4:36 left to play in the game. 9-7, Tillamook leads, but they certainly are not the favorite right now. As Estacada knocking on the door, and the Cheesemaker is going to have to use some timeouts here shortly to ensure that they have some time left when they get the ball back.
Well, I mean, there's a philosophy here that says you let them score.
Yeah, I wouldn't be of that philosophy, not when I have my timeouts remaining. Quarterback under center. Going to hand off? No, he's going to keep to the right side himself, stacked up. Didn't get into the end zone.
Yep, the near side called it. Near side official called touchdown.
Oh, he certainly did, hiding clear down there in the corner. Cheesemakers didn't think he got in, but either way, it's a score, and it's 13-9. Estacada after the turnover by the Cheesemakers, that devastating drop punt. The Cheesemakers had the opportunity to get the ball back with less than 6 minutes left and the lead, but the dropped punt and then dove on it and missed it as well. Estacada going to line up to go for 2. They'll get set up, and it's going to be a sweep left side and in for the 2-point conversion. So it's 15-9. Cheesemakers need to score and kick the extra point for another thrilling win. We'll see if that happens after this 1-minute break for our sponsors. Welcome back to Cheesemaker Football. It's the Cheesemakers. You make mistakes, and it can cost you a game. They've only made one.
But the problem is, it was only a 2-point game, right?
Yeah.
I mean, if you're up 3 touchdowns and you make your mistake, then you're okay.
Yep, that is so true.
You know, and so Chris is going to beat his head. But the question is, offensively, did you have the opportunity to put more points on the board and not make that mistake as costly? And the answer is, of course, yes. Right?
Yeah. Tillamook had a great drive to open the second half, took it down the field, and then
turned it over on downs, right?
Stalled at the 11-yard line. And now Estacada has a 15-9 lead with 4:08 left to play in the game. And they'll be kicking off to the Cheesemakers. Estacada won 21-20 last week. They know how to play in close games. The freshman, high end over end kick, going to go to McCauley at the 5. McCauley going to return right side. Got one little hole. He's got a big hole. Near side at the 40. Makes a break at midfield. He's going to return this thing for a score. McCauley, 95 yards, and the score. And the Cheesemakers have regained the lead with 3:53 left to play in the game. You know, one of the reasons you never like to kick the ball high and long is it gives you time to set up the return. And McCauley took that thing 95 yards for the score, and the Cheesemakers are tied at 15 apiece and now have the opportunity to take the lead with the extra point. They've only tried one extra point tonight, and it was missed. That 2-point conversion moments ago by Estacada may end up being big.
Wow.
Richardson comes in for the extra point.
No, this is in the bank.
He gets set up. Low snap. Kicks up. It had heavy pressure, but it's good. And the Cheesemakers have taken the lead 16-15 over Estacada with a 95-yard kickoff return by Sean McCauley.
Do you believe?
Man, oh man, the mistake. Erased. Nobody happier on that return. Even happier than Sean McCauley.
It's Chris Silvera.
It's Chris Silvera, who the Cheesemakers.
What mistake?
Yeah, Cheesemakers end up picking up the lead right back after the kickoff return.
Well,
you can see it from up here. It was beautifully designed.
And Austin Weeks was out in front of McCauley with no one except the kicker back.
Yep.
Right?
And the kicker kind of crumpled under Austin, and McCauley stayed on the corner or on the edge and ran that thing all the way back for a score.
The only thing that could go wrong there is if Austin had thrown an illegal block, right?
Or anybody else behind him as well.
Yeah, that's true.
Which happens.
Over there in the coffin corner, right?
Yeah.
Over in the laurel hedge.
Somebody who's never going to catch the return man throws a block in the back, but we did not get that.
So this is now about discipline, right?
Oh, absolutely.
We talked about, like, you got to do your job at this point, and I don't expect to see the ball high and deep right here.
I would hope not. I would hope it's bounced around. The Cheesemakers get down to cover it. 3:53 left to play in the game.
3 minutes and 53 seconds. Estacada has one timeout.
And a good kicker.
Yep.
So Richardson, who just gave the Cheesemakers the lead, will do the kicking chores. As the Cheesemakers will kick off to Estacada. Estacada going to cheat up a little bit. And it will be a wobbler line drive. It was caught by the deep back, straight back up the middle. At the 35, at the 40, straight to the 45. Midfield he goes, almost. 48-yard line, great field position by Estacada. With a lot of time left.
Well, time to play defense, boys.
Well, your defense had a chance to win it once, and then the mistake cost you that. Now they have a chance again. 16-15. Cheesemakers with a lead with 3:43 left to play in the game. Keller going to come back out. We'll see if they go to that tight set. I doubt it. I don't think you have time to run 3 and 4 yards at a time and get you down there.
Unless you're just going to say, we're going to run this play 4 times in a row. Run it, stand up, run it, stand up, run it. It's not a penalty to break the huddle with 11.
No.
Or 10.
10, that's what they did. Quarterback up under center.
If I was
Keller.
Steve Kuhn, I would just go support the run right now, right?
He's going back to throw. Going to roll left side. Going to be in trouble and chased down by McCray and dropped at the line of scrimmage.
He's actually going to throw to that kid that just
Yeah.
came in late.
He was. Guy came running off the bench. He said, "Go out there quick. I'm going to throw to you." But nice coverage there by Zeke Kuhn. Loss of 1 on the play, second down and 11. I am a little surprised they went straight to the air idea there. I thought they'd establish a little bit of a run here, knowing that Tillamook was going to back off a bit.
Yep, I'm kind of surprised too, because now you're in a position where, well, you're in 4-down territory no matter what.
Yep.
So basically, it's first and 11 if you're thinking, I got 3 plays to get the first down.
Quarterback up under center, short motion, going to hand to the fullback again. Fullback gets a couple and down he goes. Boy, you got to wrap the arms. As taken down there by Boomer with his back or shoulder.
Ozzie spun him around.
Gain of 5 on the play, 5.5 on the play. Takes it to the 47-yard line of the Cheesemakers. 2:42 left and counting. Estacada has 1 timeout remaining. Third down and 6. They're looking for the first down first. Short motion, hand off, fullback straight ahead. There's Ozzie Weeks again on the tackle after a gain of about 3. Weeks takes him down, but he's slow to get up. He is on his feet now. Can't afford not to have him, and it's 4th down and 1. You could win the game here.
Yep. You can't lose it, but you can win it.
Well, you can lose it if you give up the score, but 4th down, I'm thinking you're going to see fullback again. 4th down and short. Cheesemaker's sheeting up. Short motion. Quarterback goes the wrong way. He gets wrapped up. Oh, he breaks the tackle. He could go. Far side. Chris Silvera, the only guy that can pull him down, and he does. Out of bounds at the 23-yard line.
Busted play so bad it actually worked.
And the Cheesemakers had a chance and missed the tackle. He would have had enough for the first down, but all of a sudden he tacked 20 more onto it, and the ball's all the way down to the 23-yard line, and they may be in field goal range. Minute 51 left. Estacada comes to the line of scrimmage. Weaver back in at fullback. Short motion. They'll hand to the fullback. Weaver, another nice hole. Down he goes to the 15.
Boy, this game changes, doesn't it?
Oh, big play there by the quarterback Keller.
Who turned the wrong way.
Went completely the wrong way, and all the flow of the Cheesemaker defense went the other way. Second down and 3 after a gain of 7. Cheesemakers cheat up. They'll hand to Weaver again. He'll get enough for the first down. To the 13 he goes. The ball was at the 10 when they made the long extra point after the penalty. No, the ball was at the 13. The ball was right where it was, and their field goal kicker had just a ton of extra on that, kicked it all the way into the hedge. So Estacada has put themselves in position to walk right back up and win this game. As the chains are mixed up over there. They should have moved the chains. As still having problems. One guy on the near side of the chain never realized it was a first down. Now they'll reset it. Minute 18 left to play. This will be the last scoring drive of the ball game, or the last drive of the ball game. We'll see if it's a scoring drive. Keller under center. Weaver the back behind him. Weaver going to get the handoff left side. Inside the 10 to about the 7. Estacada does not want to kick the extra point, the field goal, as they run the tailback back in with 53 seconds and counting. Ball to 7-yard line. Same play again, left side. Again dives down, this time to the 3. Boy, you'd think the Cheesemakers would be able to fill that hole. They have run that off tackle so many times.
150 yards.
37 seconds left, and Tillamook's going to call timeout. 90% of the time, they run motion one direction. They run the dive that way.
They have not gone away from that. They have not run something back inside. They're away from their motion. They've had no luck with their wide action with the motion. They have not run a pitch. They have run dive, dive.
You have to stop off tackle, especially whichever direction motion goes.
Yep.
What we used to do in that a lot of cases was when you see motion, you automatically slant the direction that motion is going.
Right.
So you're slanting into the hole. And they have not run the inside veer at all. It's been the outside veer, off tackle, every time. They're inside the 3-yard line with 37 seconds left, and the Cheesemakers have used their first timeout. Estacada with one timeout.
This whole thing was set up by the kickoff return, right?
Absolutely, all the way back to midfield.
Midfield, right? And then you're playing half field.
And your play can call, and the reason it came back to midfield was because the ball was handled on the fly instead of bounced around. Here we go. 37 seconds left. Drury, the fullback. Keller under center. There's motion to the right, and there goes Drury to the right. No, it's a quarterback. He's going to be short. He'll be at about the 1. And I'm not sure why they ever stopped the clock there, but they did, and it is
to get the chains out.
Oh, first and goal. That was first down, apparently. Should be second down. Anyway. Motion right side. Quarterback.
No.
I don't believe he got in. He's within inches. And 16 seconds left, and Estacada has used their final timeout.
Ooh.
Now you're in a dilemma as a coach.
Yes.
You got one play to either try to run it in for a score or kick it, because I don't think you have enough time to run a play and not score and still have a chance for another play.
He's not bringing his kicker on, is he?
No, he is not. The ball rests just outside
the goal line.
16.8 seconds remaining.
So do you throw the ball one time?
You could, but they have not thrown the ball well.
No, they've completed one pass.
And the Cheesemaker's going to beef up in the middle as Coach Greg Werner takes the defensive back out, takes Boomer out, and brings another lineman in, as he's going to go into as tight a goal line defense as you can get here. And this
is for the game.
2 weeks in a row. It comes down to the last play of the ball game.
Yeah.
Tillamook leads 16-15. Estacada with the ball at the 1-inch line. They get set, and the quarterback dives in. Cheesemakers stopped the momentum, but the quarterback spun off to the outside, and with 13 seconds left, Estacada has taken the lead 21-16. Well, the good news is Tillamook didn't lose that. Estacada actually walked it down the field and won it.
Yeah, that's true.
That was a gutsy call, though, because if you do not get in there, I don't think you get another playoff.
Yep, I agree.
And so Estacada will attempt the extra point. High snap, but the kick is up and over the hedge this time. And it is 22-16 with 13 seconds remaining, unless there is another kickoff return, which is what Tillamook got the lead with the last time. The Cheesemakers are in trouble. We'll have to keep this one right here, as the Cheesemakers, we don't want to miss this kickoff, as you'll have a kickoff in one play. That's all you get left in this game. And I would be shocked if Estacada kicked it deep.
Just think back. Keller got 19 yards on that fourth and one. Turned the wrong way. Busted play and athletically just made it.
Cheesemakers had it, and then didn't. And so the Cheesemakers now back against the wall. They had their back against the wall last week, but it was tight.
I know.
And that's a whole different back against the wall.
Yeah, it is. Absolutely.
Cheesemakers trail 22-16.
Good football game.
Absolutely. Entertaining football game, and the kids have competed hard.
Yeah, it'll be disappointing if the Cheesemakers lose this game and they're not able to pull a genie out of the bottle. But the reality is Tillamook played well.
Yeah, competed hard the whole time. You got to be proud of this group. They're going to face Banks in the opener of the Co-op League next week. Got a tough Co-op League schedule ahead of them. Would have loved to have had a win here tonight, and really played well enough to win the ball game, but also so did Estacada. Estacada knew what they wanted to do, and they did it pretty darn well.
Yes, they did. And they did make the crucial mistake.
Yeah.
You know, Tillamook, there's one turnover in the game.
Yeah, it's pretty well played. So the Cheesemakers will go deep. Estacada will kick off. 13 seconds left to play in the game. and they're going to kick it out of bounds. And I think that was probably intentional.
Yeah, I would suggest that probably.
And I would decline that penalty if I were Tillamook.
Make and see if they're willing to do it again.
See how many times you're willing to do that. Or take that penalty is what I would say. Make them kick it again. Estacada sent their defense out. We're not going to do that. We have the option to say take 5 yards, kick off from the 35. You have 7 more chances. So Estacada has finally figured this whole thing out.
Now the front line has to move up 5 yards, right?
They do.
And they will.
Yeah, they do. Cheesemaker's last score came on a kickoff return for a touchdown. And so the Cheesemakers
move up 5 yards.
will get set as the front line has to go up. And they're figuring this out now with 13.1 seconds remaining, 22-16.
What, they're going to kick from the 40 again?
No, you can't kick from the 40.
35!
Coach Conley, and then knows a number halfway between 30 and 40.
Well, the official was ready to set the tee at the 40, and then all of a sudden went, yeah, I get it.
Yeah,
that was a penalty.
A penalty.
Mm-hmm.
Got to move the ball back.
And so we'll see if they're ready to kick the ball off deep or not. You know, he kicked it into the end zone.
He lined up differently this time.
Yes, he did. So you got to back up.
He's going to kick it deep.
So the freshman, ready to kick it off. He's just going to pooch it to the near side. Going to be bounced
cover that
there.
up. Cover that up. Cover that up.
And Estacada falls on it.
Yep.
It went over the front line, and the Cheesemakers didn't get to it. Ended up being in a perfect spot. And it's Keller, the quarterback, who just scored the game-winning touchdown.
And had the 4th down play.
Yeah.
Right? That's pretty fitting.
Yep, pretty fitting. And Estacada is going to steal one here tonight. 13 seconds left. Not steal one, win one.
They win. They won it. They flat out made the plays.
They score a touchdown with 13 seconds remaining. So we've seen 2 weeks in a row, one where Cheesemakers win it with no time left on the clock, and the next one when they lose it with 13 seconds left on the clock. Good, entertaining football.
It was good, entertaining football.
One snap is all it should take. Estacada will take a knee, and that will be the end of the ball game. Tillamook loses their first game of the year, 22-16, and Estacada is celebrating just like the Cheesemakers did a week ago.
That's right.
That will be the end. 22-16, Estacada with the victory. We're going to take a 1-minute break. We'll be back with Sports Extra after this. Ball and Sports Extra brought to you by the Les Schwab Tire Center, the place to go for your tire care. Well, Tillamook now in 3 games has experienced the thrill of victory.
The agony of defeat.
And this was the agony of defeat. And this one's going to sting a little bit because it was a seesaw battle that they thought they had after they thought they'd lost it right before they actually lost it. Cheesemakers, if you joined us late, trailed with 7:40 left to play in the first half as Drury went in from 47 yards out. And the extra point was good at 7-0 Estacada. The Cheesemakers came back in the next drive and answered 80 yards in 12 plays, 6 minutes of clock time to drive it down the field before Ozzie Weeks ran it in from 2 yards out. And the Cheesemakers' extra point was good it was 7-7, and we thought that's where it was going to be at halftime, but the Cheesemakers got a stop, and Estacada tried to fake a punt. Cheesemakers held them, and then at 3 plays, drove it down the field. McCauley had a 26-yard run in that, and then finally a 30-yard field goal by Richardson. Tillamook led 9-7. That's the way it was until the fourth quarter.
Boy, I tell you, there was some action, and then there was a big dead spot, and then suddenly the offense got turned back on.
Boy, there was action. No score in the second half until 4 minutes and 10 seconds left in the ball game when the Cheesemakers muffed a punt, and Estacada took it at the 14-yard line. 4 plays later, they stuffed it in, and it looked like they were going to win the game off the mistake of the Cheesemakers as they went up after the 2-point conversion by a score of 15-9. On the ensuing kickoff, Sean McCauley caught it at his own 5, returned it to the near side, and took it down the sidelines for the score. The extra point by Richardson was good, and the Tillamook Cheesemakers regained the lead, and it looked like they were going to, for the second week in a row, steal victory out of the jaws of defeat as they led 16-15 with only 3:50 left. They kicked the ball off. Estacada, good return all the way back up to midfield. 3 plays later, Estacada is facing a 4th and 1. The quarterback, all the players' backs went left. The quarterback went right. He looked around and spun off one would-be tackler and then took it 19 yards. And all of a sudden, they were deep in Cheesemaker territory, drove it down, and with 13 seconds left on the final play from scrimmage, they stuffed it in for the score, and the extra point was good, and it's 22-16. That is a victory for Estacada. They win their second in a row as they beat Scio last week, and now the Cheesemakers this week. The Cheesemakers find defeat for the first time this year as they go to 2-1 in non-league play. Nate's going to have the stats and more here on Sports Extra after this word from the Les Schwab Tire Center. Welcome back to Cheesemaker football. Tillamook loses 22-16 in a heartbreaker here after having the lead with 16 seconds left, and they lose it. What about the stats?
Tillamook Cheesemakers, 46 snaps for 225 yards, 75 on the ground on 29 running plays, and they weren't ever really able to get their rushing offense up and running. Throwing the ball 17 times, completing 10 of them for 150 yards. Not a lot of action in the fourth quarter by itself for the Cheesemakers, as they really had only one possession, and that was the possession at the beginning of the fourth quarter. But other than that, everything else went for Estacada as they were able to put the points on the board when they needed it. Estacada rushed the ball 52 times for 223 yards, threw the ball 4 times, completed one for 14 yards, so 56 snaps for 237 yards. As Estacada was definitely a one-sided offense, but that's all they needed. Drury ends up with 150 yards on 22 carries, and Keller ends up with 31 yards on his 15 carries, and Weaver has 36 yards on his 8, as they just ran the ball right at the Tillamook Cheesemakers, and Estacada made the plays. You know, Tillamook made the mistake, Estacada made the plays, and both of those things had to happen for Tillamook to lose this football game. Because if Tillamook makes the mistake, but Estacada can't capitalize on it, it goes towards for the Cheesemakers. If Tillamook doesn't make the mistake, I think the ball ends up in the hands of the Cheesemakers. Tillamook end up leading rushers, 37 yards, Ozzie Weeks. Eli McRae had 23 yards on 8 carries. Matt Silvera had 7 yards on his 3 carries. Catching the ball, Caleb Warner had a breakout evening, man. He didn't get a ball thrown to him in the fourth quarter, but he ends up with 58 yards on his 4 catches and really impressed me for 2 things. First, his route running, and secondly, the quality of hands. I didn't know if he had the quality of hands necessary to catch the ball, and the answer is a definitive yes. Now, hands down, Matt Silvera has found a kid that he has some faith in. Chris Silvera ends up with 3 catches for 42 yards, McCauley 2 catches for 40, and Landon Warner had that nice catch for 14 yards to turn the sticks over in the second quarter that turned into the touchdown drive that the Cheesemakers had. As the Cheesemakers end up with 8 first downs in the air, 5 first downs on the ground, and turn the ball over 1 time. You know, if you look at that, you'll probably take it.
Yeah,
you know?
that's good enough.
Those are good, solid numbers as they played high-quality football And what I find interesting is what expectation is. You know, your expectation after 2 wins?
Win.
And you come down, and it comes down to a couple plays here and there. You lose, and you walk away with your head down. And I don't mind that, because what that does is that tells you that the bar has been raised. No longer is it okay to be in that position. The expectation is you win, and you win regularly. And that's good to see. And we'll see if Tillamook is able to come out and compete against the team in the Banks Braves, who has had Tillamook's number for the better part of 2 decades, and come out and play hard at the opening of the Co-op League and see if we can have some success.
22-16. Cheesemakers lose their last game in non-league play this year. We'll be back with our final wrap-up after this word from the Les Schwab Tire Center. Welcome back to Cheesemaker Football. Disappointing loss here on Sports Extra, brought to you by the Les Schwab Tire Center. Tillamook led 16-15 with 16 seconds left, but they lose it 22-16 and drop to 2-1 on the season. Interesting game, great game, actually, and one that I hope you enjoyed as well. Next Friday night, the Banks Braves come to town to open up Co-op League play. Banks will be one of the top 4 or 5 teams in the state. Should be a lot of fun as they come to the turf in Tillamook to take on the Cheesemakers. This has been Sports Extra, brought to you by the Les Schwab Tire Center, the place to go for your tire care. This has been Randy Steele along with Nathan Radcliffe saying good night and good sports. It's been a KTIL Sports presentation.